Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sukram, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And good evening, hockey friends, and welcome inside North Bay Memorial Gardens as you are watching Battalion Hockey here on the Frontline broadcast. Well, if you're still trying to decide what to do for Valentine's Day, why not call Average Joe's Eatery and make reservations for Valentine's Day? I'm sure your loved one will not be disappointed. Their special for Valentine's Day will be a 10-ounce prime rib dinner with a lobster tail. They'll be featuring the music of Gary Davidson, who will be performing all of your acoustic favorites. Why not call Average Joe's? You won't be disappointed. And we want to thank Average Joe's for being the Frontline Game Day broadcast sponsor. Tonight's matchup features the Mississauga Steelheads in town to take on the North Bay Battalion. I'm here, your host, Derek Lindemann, and the pregame show is brought to you by...
The pregame show is brought to you by La Herda Imports, family owned and operated since 1995. Visit laherdaimports.com for more details.
Well, as the temperature begins to drop outside here in North Bay, things are heating up in the OHL. North Bay Battalion are in a heated race with the Ottawa 67s for the top spot of the OHL standings. They're currently tied. Ottawa does have 2 games in hand and will actually have 3 after tonight's contest, but we can't put that ahead. First off, the Mississauga Steelheads are looking to even up the series against the North Bay Battalion, as the Battalion currently leading 2-1 in the series, but the last game, a 5-4 victory for Mississauga, that coming on January 20th. Well, let's welcome in Ben Sargent. Ben, interesting night here in North Bay as the Steelheads come into town.
Yeah, both these teams are very hot. If you look at the Mississauga Steelheads, they are 7-3 in their last 10. In fact, they're tied with Barrie for the second best streak in the last 10 games. And you know, the one team who's better than them? The Battalion. They're 7-2-1 in that overtime loss to Hamilton a couple weeks ago. So both these teams are really going to be fighting for the points here this evening. The big thing too with Mississauga that you have to remember, right now sitting at 48 points in 5th place in the East. They are 3 points behind the Petes. But Oshawa, who's in 9th, right outside of a playoff spot, only 40 points. So there's only 8 points that are the difference between 5th spot and 9th spot where you miss the playoffs. So both teams, obviously North Bay trying to catch and surpass Ottawa, and Mississauga trying to fight continually for their playoff life.
Yeah, the Mississauga Steelheads, one of those sellers at the trade deadline as they traded away Owen Beck along with Luca Del Bel Blues, and also, who was the other guy going to Sarnia?
That was Del Bel Blues.
Yeah, there was one other one. But anyways, one of the players coming back from Sarnia is going to be featured tonight as our player to watch. Let's take a look now at our Mike the Financial Advisor's player to watch of the game.
Players to Watch is brought to you by Mike the Financial Advisor. If you have financial questions, he has financial answers. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike the FA.
For the Mississauga Steelheads, the player coming back from Sarnia, Porter Martin. He's a 2006 birth year, was actually drafted 5th overall last year by the Sarnia Sting, was the big key piece coming back from the Sarnia Sting for the Steelheads. And for the North Bay Battalion tonight, our player to watch, Nikita Tarasevich, really been hot lately, including 3 assists in the victory over the Sudbury Wolves less than 24 hours ago. Let's start off by looking at Porter Martin of the Mississauga Steelheads.
Yeah, obviously he said coming over from Saginaw, and look, like that's a big trade, right? Like Saginaw getting much, much better. They're 8-2 in their last. They're also in a hot spot. But you look at those two trades, Owen Beck, at the time of the deal to Peterborough, had 41 points in 30 games, and Del Bel-Belluz, when he went to Saginaw, had 41 points in 34 games. Obviously, Martin's not going to be able to give that production back yet, but there is potential in that future, and he's going to be playing on that third line here this evening, and I think we're going to see some good stuff from them. Mississauga, not a big scoring team. They don't have a whole lot of guys left that are really going to put a lot of points in. Hardy right now, their number one goal point getter, leads the team in goals and assists. So it's going to be that secondary scoring that's going to be very important, and we're going to see Martin trying to make an impact here this evening. Yeah,
Martin, the Peterborough, Ontario native, selected 5th overall by the Sarnia Sting out of the Toronto Junior Canadiens minor midget team, and he's a big piece of the future for the Mississauga Steelheads, and one of the primary reasons why the Steelheads were able to give up a player like Del Bel-Belluz.
Yeah, and that's going to be very big. Again, Mississauga's at a point where they're building for the future, right? Like, yes, they're still going to be in that mid spot of the Eastern Conference, but they're thinking, hey, what are we going to do in 2 years? What are we going to do in 3 years? And that's another thing that's going to be very interesting with Adam Dennis and this Battalion team is what's he going to do, right? This is going into being really his second offseason with the team, and it's going to be interesting to see how he also goes with the Battalion. But yeah, Mississauga definitely in a transitional period right now, but they're still very dangerous, as we've seen them in their last game when they won 5-4.
And talking about the North Bay Battalion, Nikita Tarasevich, 3 assists last night, has really heated up and has really got a lot of chemistry going with his line mate, Matvei Petrov. Unfortunately, Zito, who is out of the lineup, will be replaced by Wakely, centering those two.
Yeah, their lineups look a little bit weird now. Obviously, that second line's now Petrov, Wakely, Tarasevich. Procession ends up moving up into that third line with Van Stietsel and Romani. But what more can you say about Tarasevich? I think it helps a lot when you're playing with a guy like Petrov, who's been so good at putting the puck in the net and also getting pucks to people to put them in the net. We see he's a guy who puts so many assists. But Tarasevich, 2 goals against Mississauga out of 3 games so far. And we talked about 3 points again last night. And he's on a line where he's really thriving, and I think you can see that day in, day out. He's a guy who's pretty much always on the score sheet at this point.
And oddly enough, Tarasevich, the same as Martin, was buried on the Sarnia Sting as he was acquired last year basically from the Sting for nothing, and he's really proven this year why Adam Dennis wanted to go out and get a player such as Tarasevich, and he's really blossoming into the player that we've seen here, especially using his speed, penalty kill. He's generating offense off of those shorthanded opportunities. We've seen a couple shorthanded breakaways where he's been able to capitalize. He's just really good at using his speed. And we talked about changes to the North Bay lineup. As still out of the lineup, we still have Liam Arnsby, who's dealing with sickness, due to be back Sunday if all goes well. We know Mathern's long term. Bruskowski still out with the finger injury. Ertl still out with a hand injury. And most recently, Pasquale Zito has been seen in a walking boot as he suffered an injury in that 4-0 loss to Oshawa.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Like, it's unfortunate when you see that, but the thing that kind of makes you feel good if you're Adam Dennis is that even though you're missing these pieces, I don't think this team's that much worse than when they're in the lineup because they have so much depth. When you look at that, Wakely slotting into that second line with Petrov, Tarasenko, I don't think they're really going to miss a beat. Wakely's a guy who's got some speed. He had a pair of goals against Sudbury in their last game, and I think that there's a lot of I just think that they're able to like really build it up. That fourth line looking a little bit weaker, obviously, by having to bring in a couple of guys. They bring up McQueen Spence, who comes in from who's only played one game, which was the last game against Sudbury. But I think for the most part, if you look at those top three lines, they're still as deadly as ever. And it's going to be interesting to see Ethan Procession now on the third line and see how he can do with a little bit more minutes under his belt.
Yeah, Chase McQueen Spence, who got called up yesterday from Junior B, got to play in Sudbury last night. Unfortunately, he only got to play a handful of shifts, so we'll see how much he plays tonight as he is slotted on that fourth line with Brett Bouchard and Jacob Turian, who was the most recent guest on the Frontline podcast. We'll have a little tidbit of that interview during the first intermission, but that third line, not necessarily as strong as what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, and again, that's what happens when you lose guys like Zito. Wakely now moving up, but yeah, I think for the most part, I'm going to really have my eyes on Procession. And we talked about when me and Cordy interviewed Jacob Tarian on the podcast the other day. It was interesting because one of the things that I asked him about was about the amount of playing time that these rookies have gotten. If you look at Procession, he's played in 41 games this season, so he's played pretty much every game. Tarian's played in every game but 10. Wyatt Kennedy, because of the Mathern injury, has played in every single game this year, basically. So these rookies are getting a lot of time, and I think they're good. And Jacob Tarian is a very interesting person. I think if you look at his numbers last year in U16 AAA, he was more than a point-per-game player. He had 37, 38 points in 27 games, give or take. I think he's going to be, in a few years, he's going to be a guy, him in Procession, could be the guys that take over for the Petrovs and the Taraseviches and those guys. So getting these guys more ice time is going to be very interesting, but keep an eye on that third line because I'm going to be very interested to see how Procession does playing with Van Steetzl and Romani, some more veteran guys.
And turning to the Mississauga Steelheads, they still have some offensive punch. James Hardy currently leading the team with 61 points. He's got 31 more points than his nearest competitor, 28 more points than his nearest competitor, Charlie Callahan. And it's really interesting. Callahan is a defenseman, and I just remembered it was Ethan Del Mastro, the other playing, going to the Sarnia Sting. So that was the deal. It was Ethan Del Mastro, Luca Del Bel Blues, in return getting Porter Martin. So the Steelheads do have a lot of offense out of Hardy, but they don't have the depth that the Battalion have.
Yeah, that's a big thing. And obviously, you look at how they approached the deadline, and they got rid of their two of their three best, if you include Hardy into that number, of their best goal scorers. And you look, if they're a team that was going to really go for it, they're not going to be stocking up power picks. They're going to keep guys like Owen Beck, who played his first NHL game, by the way, the other day, too, which is kind of cool to see. But another cool, interesting is Leskovar, one of the defensemen, getting his first OHL goal in their previous game in a 4-2 loss to Ottawa, which is kind of interesting. But they're going to need goal scoring from their bottom kind of part of the lineup, and they can't just rely on Hardy. And it's going to be interesting to see what we're going to see this year. If you look at the game they played last time, every single goal by Mississauga came in the first 2-3 minutes of a period, and they scored every single period basically a minute, 2 minutes in. It's going to be so critical for the Battalion to play very well at the beginning of periods. That's a game they should have won. They played a better game 90% of the time, but those goals early on did not help.
And that seems to be the storyline every time we talk here in pregame is the Battalion starts. They got to get off to a better start than what we've seen in the past. They seem to fall down a goal or two early on and play from behind. Not that they're not winning, it's just that they get into that hole. And when you start playing against stronger teams like the 67s, it's going to be even tougher to come back from those deficits. And let's turn our attention now to the starting goaltenders. Getting a start for the Steelheads, Alessio Bigleri coming in with a 15-8-2 record, 341 goals against average, and an .872 save percentage.
Yeah, and he started the last game. So he started in one of the three games that these two have faced off against each other, and that was in that 5-4 victory. He's a goaltender who's very solid on the season. He's had a great year so far, but he is a very beatable goaltender. One of the things that we're seeing from the Battalion that we haven't seen lately is they've had more of a finishing touch to their scoring. We saw that in Windsor in the last 40 minutes where they were really able to put the puck in the net. We've seen it on this road trip. 8-2 against Niagara. Shutout against Oshawa, but 5-1 against Sudbury. We're starting to see that finishing touch, and if they can bring that finishing touch to this game, Bulgaria is definitely one of those goaltenders who can be beaten if you put the puck up in the corners and that kind of area of the net.
And starting for the North Bay Battalion, making starts in consecutive nights, Dom DeVincentis coming off that 5-win victory last night, coming in with a 26-6-1 record, 246 goals against average, and a .912 save percentage. Keeps going on and on, but the most latest accolade was the goaltender of the month in January for the OHL.
Yeah, 7-0-1 record, 223 goals against average, 923 save percentage. Speaking of teams of the month, Ty Nelson also getting put onto the CHL team of the month as well with 11 assists, 7 goals for 17 points in 11 games. Absolutely insane. But going back to DeVincentis here for a second, very interesting that they don't start Charlie Robertson in this game. He did start in that game. That was 5-4. There were a couple of shots that he didn't quite get in the glove side in that game. It's very interesting to see them go back to Dom, back-to-back starts, and I wonder how much of that is maybe a confidence in Charlie Robertson or the fact that he's kind of coming off this injury and they want to kind of keep it up. I think a lot of it has to do is they want points. They want that top seed in the OHL. They want that top seed in the East. And to do that, you want to have your best guy in net. And you can tell Dom is really going to put this team on the back down the home stretch.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Other player getting accolades just recently, Wyatt Kennedy being named just today Academic Player of the Month for the Eastern Conference. So a big accolade there for Wyatt Kennedy. And we're all set up here in the booth. And as we return, Matt Sucrum will join Ben Sargent as it's the Steelheads Battalion on the Frontline Game Day broadcast.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
And we are live from Memorial Gardens for another edition of Battalion Hockey here on the Frontline broadcast. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Matthew Sucrum alongside Ben Sargent for the call of tonight's game. And if you are watching in on our YouTube channel, please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see those numbers climb. And we thank you for tuning in tonight. This should be a good one. Division rivalry games are always nice to see, and it's the North Bay Battalion taking on the Mississauga Steelheads. What do you think ahead of tonight's game, Ben?
Yeah, kind of interesting. So this is the fourth game in 6 against these two teams. 2-1, North Bay leads the series so far. If you look at their first game, December 9th, 5-2 here in the Gardens for North Bay. December 15th, 7-3 for North Bay in Mississauga. They went back to Mississauga on the 20th of January, lost 5-4. So they're coming in today. A couple of interesting Battalion players, though. Tarasevich, 2 goals in 3 games. Bloom, 4 goals in 3 games. Jackson and Nelson, both with 6 points. Nelson has 2 goals in those 3 games as well. Petrov, 8 points in 3 games versus the Mississauga Steelheads. Watch for those guys to make a big deal, but I'm very interested to see how this third line of Van Stiesel, Procession, and Romani are going to look tonight.
And the puck is dropped, and we are underway for Battalion Hockey here on the front line as the puck is shot down into the North Bay zone. DiVincentis plays it behind his own net, feeds it down on the near side. Vecchia is there, and he sends it around the M boards, and it clears the zone. Chasing it down the ice is Callahan for the Mississauga Steelheads. He's got it behind his own net, feeds it out to the far side boards. There's a collision there. Wakely has the puck for the Battalion, but he tried to get to the middle of the zone. That did not work, and the Steelheads will skate out of the zone with it, dumping it all the way into the North Bay end. It's Winslow for the Battalion, who has it behind the net, sends it down the right side for Bloom. Bloom gets it back in the middle for Winslow, over the blue line, drops it back to Bloom, coming into the slot, goes to the left side, the shot in and off the glove of Bellieri. And the Steelheads take possession of the puck in front of their own net and clear some space, and they get it out to the neutral zone. Now it's turned over. McDonald for the Battalion gives it right back. It's now on the stick of Zidlicki. He takes a shot. It's off the shoulder of DiVincentis. Back out to the line for Larson, and as Larson touches the puck, the whistle's blown, but it's because the net is off its moorings behind DiVincentis. So 1 minute and 8 seconds are gone off the clock, and there's no score.
Well, you see that net fall off the here in Memorial Gardens. Usually it's on the other side, but yeah, it's going to be a very kind of interesting game, I think, here to see how the Battalion do. They've had a pretty good road trip. They went out, they destroyed Niagara 8-2. Then they had pretty decent game, but they couldn't find any. They couldn't get any pucks in the net. 4-0 loss, and then of course a very good fought 5-1 victory against Sudbury. So I'm expecting them to come out firing here after a relatively good road trip.
Puck sent to the line. Harding sends it into the corner. Now behind the net, Nelson has control of the puck for the Battalion. Sends it down the near side boards. Is picked up by Larson. He sends it in. Right in on net. Loose puck. And they feed it under the pads of DiVincentis for the goal. And the Mississauga Steelheads lead 1-0. And that's off good hard work after winning that faceoff.
Well, this is kind of interesting. If you look at that Mississauga versus North Bay game back when they played in Mississauga, pretty much every single goal happened within the first 2 or 3 minutes. And here we go, about a minute and almost a minute and a half into this hockey game, and already we see the Mississauga Steelheads take a 1-0 lead. That's not how you want to start for the Battalion. The good news, though, is we know this team is a second half of the game kind of team, but yeah, very tough start for DiVincentis and the Battalion.
Off the draw, the Steelheads have to chase it back into their own zone. Puck off a stick, picked up by Kennedy, plays it in behind the net for Procession. Sends it around to the near side point. Lucan's there, feeding it down the half boards for Romani. Romani sends it wide of the net on the far side. It's picked up by the Steelheads, but they cannot clear. Turnover. It's a 3-on-1 in close to the slot. They feed it from Van Steensel's shot is blocked. Van Steensel right on the doorstep gets robbed of that goal by Bellieri on a beautiful save. Puck still alive inside the Steelhead zone. It's flipped to the near side boards. Van Steensel's there. Van Steensel gets tripped behind the puck, and Harding's stick easily into the skates, and that's an easy call going against Harding. And so the Battalion, who are down by a goal, with 17:50 to go in the first period. There will now go up by a man for the next 2 minutes.
Well, we talked about that third line, Matt, and look at that. Van Steensel procession from Romani right away. I believe Van Steensel was on, they almost get a chance to score right away. And I think procession, if he was a little bit more on the other side of the net there, would have had a much easier feed and potential better start. But great start for that third line.
Off the draw, Nelson has it over the Bloom, feeds it down low, back out in front. It's off a stick and then to the far side boards. Sent around to the near side. Bloom is there on the half boards into the corner. Now fed back down the point to Nelson, across to the right side. Petrov feeds it down low on the far side to Jackson. He brings it back up high now, across to Nelson on the near side. Back across to Jackson, walking in. The shot goes up high off Bellieri, and then he gloves it for the stoppage in play. 1:34 remaining in the North Bay power play. 1-0 Mississauga.
That's not something we've seen too often, which is Kyle Jackson's shot. We've not seen him take a lot of those kind of, he has a really good shot, and we haven't seen him take a lot of those, at least at home here. But one of the guys I want to look at is Josh Bloom, who finally got off that 10-game goalless streak against Windsor, and he's looked a much better player in his last 4 or 5 games.
Scored a shorthanded goal in that game as well. Sent down the ice towards DiVincentis. Picked up behind the net by Ty Nelson. He drops it back to Petrov. Petrov sends it down the left wing side for McDonald. He comes into the zone, tries to play back to the blue line, but it's chipped away by the Steelheads, and it's cleared out of the zone. Nelson chases it down, gets it back up to the neutral zone for Bloom. He flips it forward to Nelson. He dumps it into the zone. Around the left side boards, is picked up by Jackson, now to McDonald. Back up high to Nelson, to the right side. Back across to Nelson on the near side. Back up high to Petrov. Back to Nelson in the left side corridor, or in the left side circle. He takes a shot, and it's off his stick, and it goes up high. And it gets a touch to lighting stanchion up there, so the play is blown down. 51 seconds, it's a good-looking power play, but they don't have anything to show for it yet.
Yeah, and I think Petrov made one pass too many there. He had a really good opportunity to take a shot, and he decided to try to go again through the high slot area, but we'll kind of see about a minute in. And again, this power play works the best when they're cycling the puck throughout the offensive zone, and when they can get the puck over to Nelson, that's usually where their power play really kind of starts to take off.
It's cleared out of the zone off the draw and sent down the ice. Played behind the net by DiVincentis. Winslow has it behind the net. Sends it to the right side boards. It's picked up there by Romani. He drops it back for Wakely. He'll skate it over his own blue line. Going into the Steelhead zone now. He sends it around to the near side boards for Van Steensel. Van Steensel can't hold on to the puck, and it's cleared again. 20 seconds to go in the North Bay power play with Harding in the box for the Steelheads. The Battalion have it behind the net. It's Winslow. Feeds it to the middle of the zone, but it's right to one of the Steelheads' sticks, and fortunately for him, he had Wakely coming in on the back check, and that did not cost the Battalion there. They get it out of the zone. Van Steensel down the ice. Up ahead to Wakely. It's knocked away from his stick, and it's Vecchio picks it up. Vecchia, who had a hat trick the last time these two teams played, he goes in towards the net, and the puck just slides off his stick, and it's covered up by DiVincentis. 15:45 remaining in the period. 1-0 Mississauga, and they have successfully killed their first penalty of the game.
Well, we want to talk a guy who's kind of quietly having a really good season is Dallin Wakely. He's a guy who just beat his career high for goals. He's 22 now, including 2 against Sudbury last night. And again, you have to remember, North Bay's coming on a back-to-back here. They played Sudbury last night, so it's going to be interesting. They're a little bit slow to start the game here, but we'll have to keep an eye on that as the game progresses.
Off the draw, it's turned over in the North Bay zone. Van Volsen fires it wide of the net. And the Battalion pick it up on the far side, down the right wing. It's dumped into the Mississauga zone and cleared out quickly. Chipped back ahead to the far side boards. And as it's touched, they're going to call a hand pass as it was flipped up in the air and brought back down by the Battalion. So the faceoff will be right in front of the Mississauga bench. 1-0 Steelheads lead, 15:23 to play.
Well, Mississauga is starting their own little 4-game road trip here. They're going to Sudbury tomorrow, so this is their first game of a back-to-back. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how they go into Sudbury tomorrow. But for the Battalion, again, they're playing a lot of hockey in the next couple of days. They've got 1 day off tomorrow, and then it's right back against Kingston on Sunday.
In the neutral zone, it's turned over by Christopoulos and sent into the North Bay end in the far side corner. The Steelheads looking for control, but McDonald gets in the way and sends it down to Bloom. It's Bloom who actually lets it go off the boards. It's right towards the goaltender Bellieri, and he almost gave it right back to Bloom in the slot. but it was just past the stick and cleared by the Steelheads. They send it down the ice. Now DiVincentis comes out of his net to play it, almost out of position. Boy, I don't know if it's these goaltenders' job to give their coaches a heart attack in the early going or what tonight, but
and remember, DiVincentis is
plays.
playing on a doubleheader, 2 games in 2 days.
Now McDonald coming in on the left wing. He tries to flip it towards the net. That gets blocked, and the Steelheads will clear. It's Cook sending it down the ice for Mississauga. Picked up behind the net by Lucan of the Battalion. He gets it in front of his own net to Bloom, who feeds it to Jackson. He'll carry it out and send it across the neutral zone for Kennedy. He sends it in towards the Mississauga Steelheads netminder, who plays it in the corner. And now it's sent around to the near side boards, trying to carry it out of the zone. The Steelheads turn it over. In control of the puck is Petrov for the Battalion. He walks across the blue line, sends it into the corner on the far side. Play back up to the blue line on the left wing. It's Lucan there. Lucan takes a shot, deflected, just goes wide. In the corner, Wakely has it for North Bay. He sends it behind the net. There's a battle back there. The puck coming around in the near side half boards. Lucan finds it for North Bay. He feeds it around to the far side corner. Said Licky's there for Mississauga. He can't clear it. He gets stopped by Kennedy. Kennedy gets it to Wakely in the circle, and his shot gets stopped by the goaltender Bellieri.
Well, again, if you look at the this third line with some more great offensive pressure, the Battalion they've come off a little bit flat-footed, which is something that we've seen quite a lot in this latest stretch of home games. Is they really don't have great first periods, and the one time they did was against Hamilton, and they really didn't have a great last half of the game. But Wakely so far really in the thick of everything here, as they're really getting their best scoring chances here against Begaleri.
In the Mississauga zone, the Steelheads get it out. It's Vecchia sending it down the ice. First year forward having a very good season here for the Mississauga Steelheads, but he turns it over behind the net. And the Battalion trying to push that one out. Romani gets it up to the blue line, and it's picked off. Sent back into the North Bay zone by behind the net. DiVincentis plays it. Sent back up to the blue line. Mississauga regain possession. They get right in the slot. The shot gets stopped. And it's Vecchia again trying to make things happen for the Steelheads. Now Vecchia is coming out of the zone. Procession gets his stick under the arm of Vecchia, and Vecchia goes down. And so Procession will go to the box, probably going to be hooking. Yes, that's going to be the call. 13:01 to play in the first period, and it's 1-0 Mississauga, and they are getting their first power play opportunity of the game.
Yeah, those are the tough ones, right? You're going on to the offensive, you're in the neutral zone. You end up getting your stick, pretty blatant hook from Ethan Procession, and those are the ones where if it's on a rush, if it's in the defensive zone, that's one thing, but to have that in the offensive zone, not a great penalty that he took.
Face-off won by the Steelheads. They control it in the far side corner. Lucan holding his man there. The puck bouncing around on the end boards. Tarasevic has it. He feeds it up ahead to Christopoulos, and Christopoulos clears it off the glass all the way down the ice. 1:40 to play on this power play with 12:35 to go in the period. Mississauga up by a goal, 1-0, and they have the extra man out there now, and it's sent into the North Bay zone. Played in the near side corner, down to the blue line. Steelheads still in control, down to the half board, already to the left side, the shot, and it just goes wide of the net. What a chance there by the Steelheads on that give and go play, but they just shoot it wide. 1:10 now remaining in the power play for the Mississauga Steelheads. It's Procession in the box for the Battalion. And the Steelheads coming down the left wing side, playing it into the corner. Off the end boards, Hislop is there for North Bay. He feeds it around on the near side. Vecchia blocks it, sends it to the top of the zone. It's sent back down low. There's a chance on the side, but DiVincentis finds it. And now lots of pushing and shoving going on after the whistle. The officials are getting involved. It looks like there might be a couple guys being sent to the box off this. And everybody's, the referees break them up, and then they find someone else's helmet to grab, and finally there's some space divided between these players, and yes, as suspected, 2 players are going to the box, 1 on each side. It's going to be roughing calls against each guy. Hislop for the Battalion, and it looks like Angus McDonald for the Steelheads, so those should offset each other.
Yeah, clearly some bad blood. There was a little bit of pushing and shoving on the opposite end from the Mississauga, so it looks like they didn't like what they saw there. And the Battalion a little flat-footed defensively. That's another opportunity for the Steelheads, where it feels like the Battalion right now are collapsing in on DiVincentis, and they're allowing these plays in the high slot to create. And that's something that the Steelheads are taking advantage of, and they almost got yet another rebound goal potentially, but it looks like the referee says we're all good to go.
Vecchia to take the draw against Wakely. 11:51 remaining in the period. 1-0 Mississauga lead. North Bay win the draw, but they're struggling to get the puck. And in the circle, a couple of guys brought down. The puck goes in the corner. The Steelheads have possession, but it's cleared over the glass and out of play. And we'll see if that's going to be coming against the North Bay Battalion for a delay of game.
I believe it is. There you go, Wakely going off. And Wakely had an opportunity at the beginning of that as they win the draw, and he could have shot it down, and I don't think he realized that they were still on the penalty kill because he decided to put it back to his own defenseman.
I think those penalties, those roughing calls might have
messed with him there, thinking it was 4-on-4. But the ironic thing about it was that penalty happened because of that play. And unfortunately, Wakely taking a bad penalty, and the Battalion getting into some trouble a little bit early on.
So now it's 5-on-3 for 30 seconds. Mississauga with the puck. It's Misa back to the point. Larson to the right side to Sharp. Into the circle. It's controlled by Hardy. Hardy skates to the slot. Dishes off to left side. The shot comes in. And it's stopped by DiVincentis. Into the corner. Now behind the net. Flip to the near side corner for Hardy. He plays it back up high for Larson. Larson crosses to the left side for Sharp. Sharp walking to the middle of the zone. Dishes it off to Hardy. Hardy skates back to the far side circle. Takes a shot deflected. In and out of the glove. It's loose on the blue paint. Back to the right side. And Larson could not get the shot off. So he brings it back up high to the point. Larson still skating there. It's a 5-on-4 now as one of the Battalion are out on the ice. The shot comes in. It's blocked by Procession. And they will get some fresh legs out on the ice with 1:05 remaining in the second penalty to Wakely. The Battalion in the zone. They can't clear. It's down low. Hardy with the shot. And that one is off the body of DiVincentis. And then the rebound comes whipped around the boards to the near side point. Hardy's there. Fires it to the far side. Picked up and sent in by Callahan. Save made. And the rebound was a big one. But it's picked up by Bloom and carried out of the zone. Bloom over the blue line to McDonald. McDonald's shot is blocked. He gets a rebound, but he can't get the shot off. And then he follows the puck to the far side boards. McDonald's still there battling for the puck. 30 seconds remaining on the man advantage for Mississauga as McDonald dumps it into his own zone for Nelson. Nelson now turns the puck over the line. The shot save made in the slot, and it's cleared away by the North Bay Battalion. Man, the Battalion have given the Mississauga Steelheads a ton of chances here in the first 10 minutes or so of the opening period. 5 seconds to go in the penalty to Wakely, and he is out of the box. And we are back to 5-on-5, so the Battalion kill off the 5-on-3. They kill off the 5-on-4. The score remains 1-0 with 9.5 to play in the first period. And here come the Steelheads again into the North Bay zone. They dump it into the far side boards, controlled in that far side corner by Dezoti. He sends it back around to the near side, getting it on the stick of Zhenlicki. He lost the puck on the near side boards, but the Battalion cannot clear. It's Zhenlicki back in control of it, but then his pass gets knocked away, and it's cleared out into the neutral zone and all the way back into the Mississauga zone, and now the Steelheads dump it right back in. 9 minutes to go in the period, 1-0. Mississauga lead. North Bay clear the puck, and they get it down the ice to Romani over the blue line into the Mississauga end. Romani gets held onto in the far side corner, and the puck comes around the end boards. It's picked up by the Steelheads, and they will clear. Battle in the neutral zone now between Petrov and Schwint. The puck goes to the far side. It ricochets into the North Bay blue line, and now it's cleared back up ahead. Petrov gains into the attacking zone, drops it back to Romani. The shot on net. It's a save made. 1-0 Mississauga lead. 8.5 to go when we return here on the Frontline Game Day broadcast.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
Halfway through, and we'll bring Derek in, who's downstairs at ice level. Derek, the Battalion have really been giving the Mississauga Steelheads a ton of opportunities in this first period.
Yeah, the North Bay Battalion didn't come out to the best start that we were hoping they would do today. But that's something we talked about in the pregame between Ben and myself, was how these starts for the North Bay Battalion need to be a little bit stronger. You can't afford to fall behind a team such as the Steelheads. It only took a minute 23 for the Steelheads to get on the board, but the Battalion has settled down a little bit, but still giving up a lot of opportunities in the defensive zone. It's something they're going to have to clean up here if they look to get some momentum in the second half of the first period.
Thanks for that, Derek. And yeah, they really will need some momentum going here. They're being outshot 10-6. They're being outscored 1-0 with 8:29 remaining here in the first period.
Yeah, and I think what you're seeing with DiVincentis is we talked about that decision to play him in back-to-back starts, and what we're starting to see a little bit here is a lack of rebound control from him. He's looking a little sloppy, so let's see if that is something that might come back to him, haunt them in the rest of this game.
DiVincentis sends it down the ice. It'll go past everybody and be an icing call. Coming up on the front line this week, the U18 AAA Trappers will host the Sudbury Cubs on Friday at 7:30, and then the Battalion will take on the Kingston Frontenacs on Sunday at 4 p.m. Catch all the action right here on the Average Joe's Game Day broadcast here on the Frontline YouTube channel. Puck inside the North Bay zone. The Steelheads win the draw. They play it back to the blue line. Cook with the shot, and it just goes wide. Picked up behind the net by Nelson of the Battalion. He feeds it up to the blue line to Bloom. And Bloom can't exit on the near side, so he'll take it all the way back behind the net, sends it to the far side corner to Nelson, who passes it up ahead to McDonald. It's off his stick and sent the other way. Bloom will get it back for North Bay. He gets the puck back on the stick of McDonald. McDonald circles through the neutral zone, and then his pass up to the Mississauga blue line is blocked, and it's sent all the way back into the North Bay end. Now the defense will try. It's Winslow sending it down the right wing boards. He gets it over the blue line into the Mississauga zone, but the Steelheads get the puck, and they send it down the ice. It's Misa carrying it over the blue line. Sends it to the left side. The shot comes in. It's off the body of DiVincentis. Nelson picks it up at the side of the net. Plays it to the half boards on the far side to McDonald. He gets it up in the air into the neutral zone, caught by Harding. And Harding will play it down and send it down the right side for Vecchia. Vecchia coming down on the right wing into the North Bay zone. He sends it to the far side boards, and Petrov takes a whack at it. He can't clear. Mississauga keep it in the zone. They play it to the middle. It's kicked away by the Battalion and out to the neutral zone, carried by Tarasevich. Tarasevich drops it back over the blue line, and it's now Petrov who picks it up. Petrov with the shot, and it's just sitting on the blue paint, but it's cleared away by Mississauga. It went off the shoulder of Bellieri and then just sat there, and no Battalion in the area could take advantage of that loose puck. 6:45 to play in the first period. 1-0 Mississauga continue to lead. The puck sent up into the neutral zone, and now it's sent back into the North Bay end. Looking to play it ahead, the Battalion. They get a pass going the other way, and they've got control of it inside the Mississauga zone. It's at the blue line. Hislop feeds it in the corner for Tarasevich. He tries to get to the middle. It's blocked. It goes to the line. Christopoulos keeps it alive, sends it into the corner. Picking up the puck there are the Battalion, but they're being held against the boards. Brett Bouchard, and looks like Chase McQueen Spence down there. They finally get it out of the area. Bouchard now carries it to the far side corner. Bouchard holding it. Now he carries it down to the blue line. Flips it back around behind the net, looking for Therrien. Therrien throws a hit, gets the puck, goes in behind the net. Therrien feeds it to the middle. Chase McQueen Spence is right there trying to bury it, but it's knocked away off his stick and cleared out of the zone. So the fourth line making some things happen on their first shift of the game. 5:30 to play in the first period. It's 1-0 Mississauga, and Mississauga have the puck in the neutral zone. Shidlicki carrying it down, sends it below the goal line along the end boards. Van Steensel finds the puck there, and Van Steensel for the Battalion sends it up over the glass and out of play. 5:13 to go in the first period. It's 1-0 Mississauga.
Well, Matt, this first period is really reminding me of that game on the 22nd against Sudbury. When you looked at the first period, the Battalion were on their heels a lot. They were getting pressured a lot in their defensive zone. They were making mistakes. They didn't look tight. What they did after that first period was they started to go on the offensive. They started to do the exact opposite. and that's something that the Battalion are going to need to find again going into this game.
Van Steensel carrying the puck down the ice. Sends it to the line to Procession, who gets it in the corner for Romani. In the slot for Van Steensel, and his shot gets blocked by the goaltender Belliari. Back on the half boards, North Bay looking to regain possession. It's knocked off a couple skates and carried out of the zone by the Steelheads. They send it down towards DiVincentis, wide of the net. As they went towards the puck, Luca got tripped up, but no call coming against Mississauga. It's Schwint who picks up the puck, sends it to the blue line. Mississauga's shot comes in. That's blocked by the defense in front of the net. And the Battalion looking for the loose puck on the far side boards. Now a couple of players tied up in the area. The puck gets knocked towards the M boards, and it's Kennedy for the Battalion who sends it to the near side to Van Steensel, and he dumps it down the ice. Romani going in towards the corner. He's being held there by DeZodi. And DeZodi of the Steelheads can't clear it. It's in the middle. Bloom was there, can't get the shot off. And the Steelheads regain possession, and they clear it down the ice. There's a hit in the neutral zone as Nelson stands his ground and knocks down Mason Zabisky and gets control of the puck and sends it all the way down into the Mississauga end. The Steelheads back in control in their own end, looking to play the puck out on the far side. It's passed off a skate and turned over. Here comes Jackson, makes a move around a defender, and he can't bury it. He went up high, and it looked like he had a bit of room to beat the goaltender, but it was just off target by a bit. The puck goes all the way down into the North Bay zone now. It's Mississauga in control with 3:30 to play. In behind the net, out in front, and North Bay take over control of the puck there. Now Jackson out of the zone, down the ice, over the blue line, pass to the middle. Nelson's shot just goes wide. Off the boards and picked up in the neutral zone. It's Misa skating the other way. Down the right wing side. Plays it to the middle. Harding shot goes off the crossbar. Picked up on the far side. It's Larson, and now the official has blown the play down, and I think they might be reviewing this play off that shot from Hardy.
I'm not too sure unless I'm not too sure what's happening. They're just going to drop the puck here, so I think this was something where did
they lose sight of it?
I think they might have. They might have thought that it went out of play because it hit the bottom part of that crossbar versus the top part. And I think when he was going around, he said that was my bad on the whistle. But again, another chance where DiVincentis almost gets beat right on that glove side. But one of the things that Mississauga is doing really well is they are really crashing that net. They're putting a lot of guys in front. And the problem right now is the Battalion are also allowing their defense to get in front of DiVincentis as well, as they really are collapsing on him. And that's something that they need to be a little bit more aggressive defensively and start to really get a good get out of their zone well into that neutral zone.
And the Battalion win the defensive zone draw with 3 minutes to play. It's sent up ahead to Wakely, skating over the blue line. They're going to call offside against the Battalion. Wakely stumbled a little bit going into the zone. As we said, that fourth line looked pretty good on their first shift. And that included Jacob Terrien, and he is our guest on the Frontline podcast this week. He had a goal in last night's 5-1 win over Sudbury. You can listen to that episode now. We'll do it after the broadcast, and you can download it wherever you get your favorite podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Frontline podcast. North Bay win another draw. They send it into the Mississauga zone, but the Steelheads gain possession quickly, and they dump it down the ice. Christopoulos sends it from his own blue line up ahead. The Steelheads and the Battalion are battling for the puck on the boards. It's bouncing around, and now it's cleared into the Mississauga zone. Around the far side boards, Hardy picks it up, sends it down the middle, and it is Misa for the Steelheads who dumps it into the North Bay zone. It's played back out very quickly by the Battalion as Petrov carries it down the left wing side. Over the blue line to Wakely, and again they call offside on the Petrov-Wakely-Tarasevich line. And you can see the frustration in the faces of the players on this line as they skate back to the bench with 2:17 to go.
Pretty frustrating period for the Battalion right now. They just can't seem to get anything going, whether it's a transition game or if it's getting the puck in net. We've seen a couple of great, absolutely great fourth line shifts, but yeah, even that third line with Van Steensel, Procession, Romani have done a great job. And it's one of those things where they're just struggling at trying to gain the zone right now offensively.
2:10 to play. It's 1-0 Mississauga. The puck inside the North Bay zone. Zidlicki walking through the slot. Then the shot comes in, and that's stopped by DiVincentis. North Bay get the puck out. Bouchard up ahead to Terrien, and he runs into Von Richter, and he did not go down, but that was a That was a hard hit
He's
by
a
the
tough
big
guy.
man. Yeah, there was probably at least a 1.5 foot difference in the height game there between Von Richter and Therrien.
You'd almost swear that he has the size. He's the body of Kyle McDonald when you see the way that he plays, which is one of the points that we talked about on the when he was the guest on the podcast. One of the things that I found really interesting, I talked to him about this too, is the amount of trust that Ryan Olahan has on these rookies. Like if you look at Ethan Procession, Jacob Therrien, and these guys who are playing pretty much every single game. Wyatt Kennedy, obviously with Mathern being injured, has played every single game, but he's given a lot of ice time to these young guys, and I think you see it with Procession now being on the third line. Really shows how much Houlihan said, and Jacob Therrien said, yeah, he has a lot of trust in them to make it play, and you can see it kind of pays off a lot of the time.
They got a defensive zone shift, and they did get the puck out off of winning the draw. So that'll give Coach Ryan Olahan even more confidence. With 1:15 to play, Nelson has the puck at the Mississauga blue line, takes a shot that gets blocked. He gets the rebound back, and this time he sends it wide, trying to deflect it into the corner, but the Battalion could not pick the puck in that area, and it's sent out of the zone by the Mississauga Steelheads. Steven Chentis, the goaltender for the Battalion, plays it down the left side boards. Procession gets it out. He tried to pass it to Winslow. It's behind his back, and Mississauga get it, but Mississauga now turn it over, and the Battalion look to bring the puck in the zone. They can't get a pass going. Mississauga looking to clear. Procession is there to keep it in for the North Bay, but then he can't hold on to the puck, and that allows Sharp to get it out of the zone over to Callahan, and he dumps it right towards Steven Chentis. 35 seconds to go in the period. It's a 1-0 Mississauga lead as the Battalion dump it down into the Mississauga end. The Steelheads carry it out. Down the left wing side, Misa with speed. Going in, he sends it on net, and fanning on the shot was Vecchia, which you don't see too often. Now it's behind the net. Back out in front, and Hardy fans on the shot. He gets the puck back on the boards, though. Sends it to the left side of Larson. Larson to the middle. Vecchia trying to get shot off, but it's blocked, and North Bay get control, and they carry it out. 5 seconds to go as McDonald sends it in over the blue line. He turns it over 2 seconds to go, and Harding is going to run out of time in the first period, but the Mississauga Steelheads will run to the locker room with that 1-goal lead intact.
Well, you got to be happy if you're the North Bay Battalion right now, in the sense that you didn't play the best period. You were really on your heels a lot of the time, but they kept the score to 1-0. They had a couple of scoring opportunities. Now when they come out to that second period, expect them to be more on the offensive and create a lot more offensive pressure and not be on their heels as much. It's going to be a very interesting second period, I think.
The Battalion trail 1-0 to the Mississauga Steelheads after 20 minutes. We'll be back for our first period intermission. You're watching the Frontline broadcast, or you're watching the Average Joe's Game Day broadcast right here on the Frontline YouTube channel.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sucrum, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3, available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And we're back inside North Bay Memorial Gardens, where after one period of play, it's the Mississauga Steelheads leading the North Bay Battalion by a score of 1-0. Let's take a look at the scoring summary in that first period. It took a minute 23 for Angus McDonnell of the Steelheads to open up the scoring, his 16th of the season from Casper Larson being the only goal scored in that opening period. A few penalties coming in that first period. First off, Finn Harding went off for tripping at 2:10. Then at 6:59, Ethan Procession went off for hooking. 8:09, Angus McDonnell. 2 minutes for roughing alongside with Braden Hislop at 8:09. And then at 8:21, Dallin Wakely, a delay of game penalty as he shot the puck over the glass in the defensive zone. Shots on goal in that opening period, 14-8 for the Steelheads. Neither team capitalized with the man advantage. The Steelheads going 0 for 2 and the Battalion 0 for 1 in the category. 3 other games in the OHL. One of them is a final on this Thursday as an afternoon contest. It was the Guelph Storm defeating the Erie Otters 4-3, needing a shootout in that game. In Peterborough, the Petes are leading the Ice Dogs 2-1 late in the first period. Also, with 3 minutes left in the first period, the Windsor Spitfires have put up 4 against the Sioux Greyhounds and are leading 4-1. Well, earlier this week on the Frontline podcast, Courtney Kenny and Ben Sargent caught up with Jacob Tarian of the North Bay Battalion, and here's a little tidbit of that interview from the podcast.
Jacob, I want to go back right to the very beginning here. Let's go back to the draft. How did that play out for you and the family? I mean, you had to wait till the third round, but I mean, to hear your name called by the battalion, what's it feel like?
Yeah, so it was a great experience leading up to the draft, talking to all the teams, going through my minor midget year, big learning experience. And then when the draft day came, I didn't know what I was expecting too much. Like, I talked to, like, obviously all the teams, and I didn't know, like, going into it. But I also had North Bay high on my list, and to hear my name called by them was amazing. And yeah, just, big monkey off my back when I got called too. So yeah, it was a big sigh of relief, and it was awesome.
When you do get the call, I know a couple of guys kind of have an idea roughly of where they're going to go or who they're going to. Did you get any sense before the battalion made the pick, or did you not? Were you kept in the dark until you saw the name pop up?
Yeah, so it's funny. I actually got picked during a commercial on the TV, so I didn't actually know I got picked, and I didn't know North Bay was picking, so it caught me by surprise. But yeah, I was glad when I heard my name got killed.
What a weird circumstance. It goes to commercial and then it comes back. Pre-commercial, you're not an OHL player. Post-commercial, you're an OHL player.
Yeah, for sure.
I wanted to ask though, I mean, coming up to the Bay, I remember you got to meet some of us in the media when you came up pretty much the very next day. What was that like? Basically one day, you're at home enjoying your time with your family, going to look to hopefully get drafted. The next day you're driving up to North Bay and meeting the media and getting a tour of the facilities.
Yeah, it was awesome. We left, I think 7 a.m. the next morning. I already knew Ethan. I got to meet Braden and his family for the first time. Got to see all the staff, got to see the draft room, which is pretty cool. Met a couple of the guys. I think I met Ty and Dom that day. Yeah, we toured the gym, all the facilities too. And yeah, it was awesome.
I mean, to meet Ty and Dom right off the bat, those are two good guys that would probably be there to welcome you. I mean, they're the most personable, some of the most personable guys. At least it was kind of those guys, right?
Yeah, they were great. They were great the day after.
When you come up here, did you guys get to do anything, or was it just basically, okay, we're here, we're touring the facility, and then you head back home, or did you get to enjoy North Bay a little bit?
Yeah. So, like I said, we left early in the morning. We were there for a few hours. Watched the practice, had a meal, and then I had to head back home after because I still had friends and family waiting for me because it was like I didn't have much time to celebrate after the draft. So I went home to go see them, and then yeah, Dev Camp was only a couple weeks after, so got to come back out.
With all that whirlwind stuff and coming up, what was your first initial reactions to Memorial Gardens and everything like that?
Yeah, so I think definitely the thing that caught me that surprised me was the gym and how nice it was. I never really toured any OHL rooms other than the Oshawa Generals. Obviously, they're known to have one of the best, and if not the best in the OHL. So I didn't know what to expect, but I was caught off guard and I loved it. And yeah, love the rink.
I was going to say I've only ever seen pictures of Oshawa's room, but it looks gorgeous. I've been fortunate to be in the Battalion room and then the gym and everything upstairs, and that's just top notch though. Like it's ridiculous. The public doesn't see it, right? Like it's just kind of a hidden gem of Memorial Gardens, that side of things.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. It's great seeing it every day and just being able to work out there. It's awesome.
Something different for you this year compared to Battalion teams in previous years. Usually when the draft comes around, the Battalion are long and done, you know, they're not playing hockey anymore. But to be drafted by a team that was still in the midst of a playoff run, like obviously you know what team you're cheering for the rest of the playoffs, but how weird is that these guys are still playing hockey and you're coming in the middle of it kind of thing?
Yeah, it was definitely weird. As soon as I got drafted, I started watching them on TV too. We got to come up at Dev Camp. We got to watch them play Kingston, which is really cool. Got to witness the playoff atmosphere and just like a game at Memorial Gardens, like to know what to expect in years coming up. And I think it was awesome for me and the other draft picks to see it like and know what to expect coming in. So yeah, it was awesome to see it, to go to a team that's still in the deep playoff run.
Coming into the summer and Dev Camp and all that stuff, how did you prepare yourself mentally and physically, and then also for main camp as well?
Yeah, so I actually play lacrosse in the summer, so I think that was really good for me for like cardio and stuff. And I was going to the gym 4 to 5 times a week with a couple other OHL players from where I'm from. So Ethan Cardwell, he plays for Barrie Colts, and then Jack Thompson plays in the AHL now for Syracuse Crunch. So I was training with them, and I think just working out with the older guys and like getting to know how hard they work and see them in the gym off the ice. It was like inspired me to push to my best every day. So I think I was ready to come in camp, and I think I impressed a lot at camp.
You can catch the entire episode on our YouTube channel. Don't forget, subscribe and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
And that was the most recent episode of the Frontline Podcast, just coming out yesterday, in which Jacob Therrien did score last night in that victory over the Sudbury Wolves. You can find the complete episode on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, wherever you download your favorite podcast. Ben Sargent looked really good there occupying that left-hand corner of the screen.
You can go watch the whole thing where I actually talk, because Derek decided to cut out the entire part of the time I talk, apparently. So I had some good questions, so you should check it out.
Yeah, definitely worthwhile checking it out. It's always great to hear what the Battalion players say. It's a little different than the regular questionnaire that you get asked a lot between periods. What do you got to do differently in the second to come out with a win? You get to learn really what the players are like away from the hockey rink. And it was really interesting there. The first time you got to sit down with a player there on the podcast.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it gave me kind of a different insight in Jacob Therrien, too, because you get to dive a little bit deeper into his past. You get to see kind of like the work, even though you look at his numbers on the stat sheet and you can kind of dismiss someone like that. He plays on the bottom line. He is a rookie, all that kind of stuff. I think he gave me a little bit more of an appreciation, and as I've watched him the last couple of games, he's definitely somebody that's jumped out on the ice. If you look at that last period, he had a couple of really, really good shifts. He had a couple of really good scoring opportunities, and that fourth line, along with that third line with Procession, Van Steetzl, and Romani, were honestly almost the best two lines on the ice for the Battalion this period, and it was a very interesting period, and we saw this when they played Sudbury. I said this on the in the first period. On the 22nd, they played Sudbury. They were on their heels that entire first period. They looked bad. They were collapsing. They couldn't get anything going offensively. They were in their own zone. They were giving up plays. Exact same thing that's happening here. What I expect them to do is to change that tide. Now, we've talked about how the Battalion have this weird switch. When the 10-minute mark of the second period flips, they're like, okay, we're going to start playing hockey now. So we'll see what happens, but I expect the Battalion to come out firing in the second period. You can really tell in this first period that they're coming off a back-to-back, especially DiVincentis, who's given up a couple of rebounds. And again, he's playing 2 games in 2 days, so that's kind of expected, but I think they're going to bounce back in the next 20.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see. That's exactly how we've seen the last few games go here. Yeah. It only took a minute 23 for the Steelheads to get that opening goal tonight, and the Battalion seem to be wanting to battle from behind here at the Gardens. They do have a 17-2-1 record on home ice, so they do make it hard for the teams to really get away with a victory, but the Battalion fall behind often here at the Gardens.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't really understand why. I don't know if it's. I think a lot of it has to do that when they play different teams, and we saw this against Windsor. I think that first period they really kind of judge what kind of game that they're going to be playing. I don't think it's on purpose. I think that's just kind of the way the players play. But they kind of judge to say, okay, what kind of a game is this? How are they playing us? Whatever. Ryan Houlihan and this team does a really good job during the period breaks to change up their strategies, find out what's not working, and they're able to utilize. And we've seen Houlihan do this with his lineups. We've seen this before when McDonald's been on that third line or second line with him going back up to that first line. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the lines switch up a little bit. Obviously, there's going to be some issues with chemistry as a lot of these lines are different. Wakely's playing on a new line, Procession's playing on a new line, but I think for the most part, it's going to be all about the aggressiveness. They can't be playing on their heels. They can't be collapsing. They've got to be playing aggressive and taking kind of the initiative.
Yeah, and looking at the play in the offense zone, they really haven't made it hard for Bellieri. Really difficult in the goal is he's made 8 saves, and not one was really a difficult save in that first period.
Yeah, and we saw this against Windsor as well, and they don't do a good job picking up rebounds, and that's what happened with Mississauga. You look at that first goal, it was picking up rebounds. They had a couple of other opportunities where they couldn't just get a handle on them, and what we saw in that second period against Windsor was they started collapsing more into the net. We saw in the first period there was an earlier opportunity where I believe it was Procession was a little bit kind of right up against the other Battalion player who I believe it was Van Steetzel at the time. And instead of being on the other side of Bellieri, where he could have had an absolute great chance to get a pass and get a feed and get a potential goal. And sometimes the Battalion do that where they bunch up a little bit too much. And I think that's something that they're going to try to change up going into the second period.
If you're Coach Richmond of the Mississauga Steelheads, you got to be excited with that first period coming out with a 1-0 lead on the road.
Yeah, and you talk like the Steelheads, they're playing good hockey. They had a 4-game winning streak snapped in that 4-2 loss against Ottawa, but they're 7-3-0. We talked about that. Same with Barrie, where they're really pushing it, and they've really kind of again with how tight those conference standings are, it's so important for them to pick up these points. And a very good first road period. They were on the offensive. They could have gotten more than one goal in that period. I think the Battalion are lucky to be down 1-0 at this point. And I think if you're the Steelheads, what it's all about is continuing the exact same pressure you had, play the exact same period you just played, but pick up more of those rebounds because they know right now DiVincentis is having issues controlling them.
While the Mississauga Steelheads strike early in the first, holding on to a 1-0 lead as we enter the first period intermission. On the other side, when we return, Matt Sucrum will rejoin Ben Sargent for all the second period action here as it's the Steelheads Battalion on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
Welcome back. Matt Sucrum with you here alongside Ben Sargent. Period number 2 underway between the Battalion and the Steelheads, and it's the Steelheads with a 1-0 lead.
Well, you were doing
right now.
Game, so close enough.
The Steelheads. That's going to be the name of the new Brantford team, right? They're going to combine the Mississauga Steelheads with the Hamilton Bulldogs. Here comes Dolan Wakely in on net. He takes a shot, and it's a save made by Belliari. The puck goes to the far side boards right in front of Bonhomme, who's not paying attention at all to the game. Why is he even here? Puck at the blue line and sent back in along the net, along the end boards. The puck comes up to Christopoulos, sends it in, save made, rebound chance. Wakely sends it off the side of the net. Wakely gets his own rebound back, plays it up high to Christopoulos across the far side. Winslow, his shot comes in, and that one goes just wide. It's touched by Hardy and just pushed out over the blue line into the neutral zone. A good opening minute there for the North Bay Battalion. We're trying to even this game at 1-1. The Steelheads bring it all the way back into their own zone, and now they will play it forward. Vecchia chasing it, sending it in behind the North Bay net. It's knocked away from his stick, and McDonald looks to bring it out. In the neutral zone, he lost it. Sent back into the North Bay end, and McDonald back on the puck. Skating through the neutral zone again. Down the left wing side. It's poked away from him as he crossed the blue line, and now Mississauga go the other way. Zidlicki there. Zidlicki plays it towards the front of the net. The Battalion defense knocked the puck away and cleared out to the neutral zone. 18-10 remaining in the second period as the Steelheads regroup in their own end. They dump it down the ice, and Licky bringing it back in. He battles with Winslow behind the net. Someone's lost a stick. Winslow finds the puck back there, and he gets it up to McDonald at the blue line and cleared out to the neutral zone. Mississauga take over there again. Now North Bay get the puck back, and they go into the zone. Bloom had a chance at a shot, but it's blocked and cleared out to the neutral zone again. Nelson takes over. He fires it in. Delayed offside call against the Battalion, so everyone retreats, and that allows Mississauga to bring it back out. They dump it into the North Bay end, whipped around the boards, and cleared back out by the Battalion. Into the Mississauga zone, the Steelheads back on the puck. They move it down the left wing boards. Sent into the North Bay end, and DiVincentis, the goaltender, plays it to the far side. He gets it up ahead to Van Steensel, who's got a late 2-on-1 going with Procession. Procession leaves it at the line for Nelson. It's knocked away off the stick of Nelson, but into the corner now, back in the front. Romani's right there, but he cannot get it past the goaltender, Belliari. It's played into the far side corner, back out in front. Romani there again, but he can't get the shot off. He gets tied up with Schwint, and they go to the end boards. 16:50 to go as that battle continues. Mississauga holding on to this 1-0 lead, but the Battalion putting the pressure on here early in the second period. It's now Bouchard out there for the Battalion. He's battling, trying to get control of the puck in the corner. Romani coming in to aid him there. Still in that area. Now the puck comes free and cleared out by Mississauga. Steelheads turn it over again in the neutral zone, and North Bay dump it right back down. Picked up by the Steelheads in their own end, and they play it forward. Behind the North Bay blue line, Nelson takes over for the Battalion. He sends it down the ice, and icing will be called against North Bay. 16:10 to go in the second, 1-0 Mississauga.
Well, going into this period, there was the Battalion on the wrong side of a bit of a streak as Mississauga scored in the first 2 minutes in 4 straight periods. And much better start to this period for the Battalion as they got a couple of great scoring opportunities in the first minute in that last rush with Romani. So very good start. And again, we talked about how they have to get off to a good start, and that's what they've done.
And off that face-off, the Steelheads get the shot in, off the blocker of DiVincentis and over the glass and out of play. And so we will reset. 16:06 to go.
It'll be interesting to see as they get a line change out here. We're going to have the Wakely line and Petrov line out, but what a great start it's been for that third line. Procession, Van Steensel, Romani. Absolutely fantastic in this game, and that's exactly what you want to see if you're Ethan Procession.
The Steelheads win the draw. They send it around behind the net, picked up in the near side corner. Play back in behind the net. Steelheads get it up to the blue line. Playing it back down low. It's off his stick. Picked up on the near side boards. Callahan walking in. And his shot is stopped by DiVincentis. North Bay find the puck. It's Wakely up ahead to Tarasevic, and now to Lukin in the neutral zone, and he dumps it down the ice. Into the Mississauga zone. It's Wakely in the corner. Feeding it down the near side. Kennedy turns it over. And Zabisky coming down the ice with a breakaway. Puts it into the pads of DiVincentis, who makes a good save. And then it's cleared away by the Battalion defense. Kennedy was right there in the blue paint and made sure that one did not cross the line. And now another chance in front of the net, but the Battalion turned aside. They can't clear though. Sharp keeps it in at the blue line. Now it's into the corner, and Lukin takes over there for the Battalion. He will dump it out of the zone all the way down the ice, and they will get the icing call against the Battalion. 15:04 to go in the second period. It's 1-0 Mississauga.
Well, how impressive has Wyatt Kennedy been this year? He's a rookie. He comes in. He's played every single game. He's filling the shoes of Tanais Mathurin. He's on that third pairing with Lukin. He's had his opportunities with Winslow a little bit. He's absolutely come in his first season. He's played absolutely fantastic on the ice defensively for the Battalion.
Off the draw, there's a hard shot from Hardy right into the shins of Petrov, and he will skate immediately to the bench, but under his own weight, so that is a good sign. The Battalion got it out of the zone. Now they retreat in their own end. It's Kennedy on the puck. He'll dump it down, and it's past the stick of Harding, who will chase it behind his own goal line. He tries to play it out. Mississauga turned it over at the line. McDonald there for North Bay. He plays it to the near side corner, and the puck gets sent out of the zone by the Steelheads and dumped down the ice. Icing will be called. Well, if you're a Canada alumni, they got a ski night coming up at Laurentian Ski Hill, and it's free for Canada alumni, plus up to 3 guests. That goes on Saturday, February 25th from 5 to 9 p.m. You can RSVP, and you can do so by February 18th by emailing Peggy Ledoux at canadacollege.ca. And we thank Canada College for being our in-period sponsor.
That's something that we can do.
That's right, yeah.
Finally, the radio is coming.
Radio broadcast graduates get something out of their diplomas.
Finally.
Way back underway as Winslow brings it in over the blue line. Sent back towards the North Bay end as Christopoulos picks up the puck. I think everybody on air tonight is a Canada alumni, actually.
I think so, yeah. And almost everybody did radio.
That's right. In behind the net in the Mississauga zone, they turn it over, but very quickly they get it back. And now they turn it over again. It's Jackson in the middle of the zone. He plays it to the left side circle. McDonald can't get the shot off. He got knocked off the puck on the hit. And it's Mississauga who send it down the other way, but they turn it over off the blue line. And now North Bay bring it back in onside. They dump it down, but now that line changes, and now Mississauga have a chance to clear the puck again. It'll be carried out by Leskovar. He gets up to the blue line, lost the puck in the neutral zone. Larson finds it for Mississauga and dumps it in. It's Nelson picking it up for North Bay on the near side boards. He gets it out to the neutral zone, and now Leskovar and Van Steensel battle for the puck. Leskovar lost his helmet, so that allows North Bay to get the puck away from that zone. And it's Van Steensel carrying in on the right wing side. He sends it wide of the net. Bounced off the end boards and picked up by Callahan of Mississauga on the far side. He skates all the way down the ice and dumps it into the North Bay zone. 13 minutes to go as North Bay look to get the puck out of the area. It's Hislop on the near side boards. He sends it behind the net. That is Nelson there. He sends it down the left wing for Van Steensel, who turns it over. The Mississauga Steelheads towards the net, but Nelson on the back check makes a nice play to get the puck away from that Steelhead attack. And now it's coming out of the zone with Romani in control. He gets it up to Procession. He dumps it down. It's played off the stick of the goaltender Bellieri, and it's played by the Mississauga Steelheads out of the zone. 12:30 to go in the second period. 1-0 lead for the Steelheads. They turn the puck over. North Bay get it carried out of the zone by McQueen Spence, and he dumps it into the far side corner. But very quickly, the Steelheads regain possession. Now Bouchard blocks the clearing attempt and sends it back in along the goal line. But that's picked up by Mississauga in that area, and they get it up to the line again. McQueen Spence on the back check. He tries to play it forward. He gets a stick underneath the skates of Zinlicki, and that will be a trip call against the Battalion. It's actually going against Bouchard, and so the Mississauga Steelheads will have another power play opportunity coming up here. It will be, I believe, their second of the game.
Yeah, unfortunately for Bouchard there, as he tries to play the puck and he gets nothing but a Steelheads skate. So it looks like the Battalion, again, number 1 penalty kill. They're going to have another chance here. A decent power play for the Steelheads. They're 22%, about 9th in the league, so right in the middle of the pack. But the Battalion, of course, maybe getting an opportunity shorthanded if we can see some of that speed. We haven't seen too much of it tonight.
Off the draw, they send it right towards the net in the slot, and Misa just fires it wide. Play back to the near side point. That is Callahan. Across the left side, that's Hardy. Back to the right side, shot from the circle, and that one is blocked and cleared by North Bay. And like you mentioned, Ben, the speed on the penalty kill for the North Bay Battalion is certainly an offensive asset, as not only do they lead in the penalty kill percentage, but they lead with 12 shorthanded goals, besting three other teams who have 11 going into tonight's action. Hardy coming back in the zone, puts it on net, save, rebound chances denied as well. DiVincentis coming up big there on the penalty kill. 11:10 to go in the second period. Mississauga up 1-0. They're also up by a man. This is their third power play of the game. They had a 5-on-3 earlier as well in the first period. Now they bring it back in the zone. It's Hardy coming in, the shot. That one's blocked in front of the net and bounces to the far side boards. Now played to the line. Now sent in behind the net. It's Vecchia there for Mississauga. He plays it in the middle. North Bay are there. The defense collapses in the slot and clears it out of the area.
And you can really tell DiVincentis is having a tough game right now, and you can see that effect of back-to-back games. That's in one right at his glove side that he can't get. It goes right off the padding.
North Bay trying to play the puck out of the zone as Mississauga bring it back in with 30 seconds on the power play. It's to the right side circle in the slide that goes high off the shot from the Steelheads, but it's picked up by North Bay and cleared. 10:20 remaining in the second period with 20 seconds to go on this power play for the Mississauga Steelheads, their third of the game. They almost turn it over in the neutral zone. Now they do give it away to Van Steensel, and he promptly dumps it towards the goaltender Belliari. He leaves it in front of his net for the Steelheads, and they will bring it out with 2 seconds to go on the power play. They turn it over at the line. We're back to 5-on-5, and North Bay dumped the puck down into the Mississauga zone. It's cleared out. Kennedy fires it right back in from behind the blue line. Belliari makes a stop there. That's just the 12th shot on net for the North Bay Battalion as Steelheads clear it out of the area again. The Steelheads have 20 shots for themselves, and they lead 1-0 with 9:30 to go as they dump it into the North Bay zone. Now it's played out in front of the net, and that one has stopped the rebound. It's turned aside as well as the Steelheads couldn't get a secondary shot there. North Bay have the puck in their own zone. Petrov turns it over at the blue line. Mississauga bring it back in on side, but Zabinski is knocked down. And now in the near side corner, Mississauga have the puck. They play it to the far side corner. Kennedy's there for North Bay. He whips it around the boards to the near side. Romani's hit into the boards. The puck comes to the blue line. It's kept in the zone by the Steelheads. They get a shot. That is stopped. The puck comes back out to the near side boards, and the battle continues there. Now it's kicked around behind the net. It's picked up there by Nelson of the Battalion, and he sends it out of the zone. 8:45 to play in the second period as the Steelheads regain possession in the neutral zone. Played down the right side boards. Now they come in over the blue line. Pass across to the near side circle. That is controlled there by the Steelheads. Pass across to the right side now. The shot comes in wide of the net. Picked up on the near side boards by Camaris. He plays it in the corner. Kennedy gets in the way, trying to get it out of that area. Still along the end boards. A big battle going on back there. The puck gets knocked away from that area into the corner now. Steelheads take over. It's Azadi on net. The shot scores. Scores off the shot from Dazadi in the circle, and it's 2-0 for the Steelheads.
Well, you can only flirt with fire so much before you get burned, as that was just what a great opportunity by Mississauga. What they're doing is they're just crashing into the Battalion. They're playing a very heavy three-man forecheck that's really just keeping them. They're not passing well. The Battalion aren't able to get out of the defensive zone, and right there you see they give up so many chances, and Mississauga just has kept missing the net, and not that time. And DiVincentis can only save so many before you give up way too many offensive chances, and the Battalion not looking too sharp in the last 5 minutes.
8 minutes to go in the second period. It is 2-0 now for the Mississauga Steelheads. Puck inside the North Bay zone. They turn it over again. Played in the far side corner. The player's knocked down. It comes up to the blue line. But Mississauga keep it alive in the zone. But now they pass back to the line. And they send it down the ice. Zabeski getting credit for the goal. I thought DiVincentis made the initial save, and I guess he did, as Zabinski then put in the rebound. And it's flipped up over the boards and into the bench, and that's where we'll have our stoppage and play. 2-0 Mississauga halfway through the second period. We'll be right back.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news or access the alumni job portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
Well, Derek, what's the mood like down there between the benches as the Battalion find themselves down 2-0?
Very quiet coming from the North Bay bench. Just not on the same page as each other tonight. Passes just seem to be a little bit off. They kind of look like a team that is still stuck in Sudbury last night after getting back late into town. Just not getting together on the same page, especially that last goal. Kennedy was out there with Nelson. Neither guy picked up the individual out in front of Zazaski. Found that loose puck and was able to pound it in past DiVincentis. The Battalion just going to have to look to change things up here and find another gear if they want to get back into this in this second period, Matt.
Yeah, you're right, Derek. It was 7:34 to go in the second period. They trail 2-0, and they're being outshot 22-13. Face-off right at center ice. And the Battalion pushed it in over the blue line, but very quickly Mississauga get it out. Turned over in the neutral zone and is back into the Mississauga zone, but very quickly cleared out again. In the neutral zone, Winslow has it for North Bay. He dumps it down the ice. Play back in behind the net in the Mississauga end. And it's Mississauga who take control there, and they clear it out. And they will send it all the way down towards DiVincentis, and he freezes it for the stoppage and play. 7:08 to go in the second. 2-0 Mississauga ahead.
Well, we saw these flashes at the very beginning of the period. We saw the Battalion really come out and have a really strong 2-3 minutes. Put a lot of pressure on Bellieri and the Steelheads, and now it's just, again, the aggressiveness of the Steelheads are, there's just, you can tell right now the Battalion, they're not passing crisply. They don't have the speed up the ice. They don't have that transition game going right now, and I think Mississauga has a really good game plan here, which is just put so much pressure on the Battalion that you're suffocating them and kind of taking advantage of their tiredness.
Yeah, their attempts to clear the puck out of the defensive zone haven't been very sharp. McDonald sending the puck down into the Mississauga zone. Gets it off the end boards and carries it to the half boards. Plays it in behind the net. Jackson, it's just out of his reach. And it comes down around to the near side. McDonald and Schwimp battling for it. Puck kicked back around to the far side. Callahan sends it out of the zone. Schwint carries it in over the North Bay blue line. Plays it back to the line. Van Volsen's shot comes in. It's deflected away by DiVincentis. And out of play with 6:30 to go in the second. 2-0 Mississauga lead.
Well, in the last quarter of this period, I think what's going to be very important for the Battalion to obviously keep the puck out of your net, don't allow another goal. But I think it's very important that they grab one back here. Try to go into the breakdown 1 versus down 2-0 and get some sort of momentum as we get into the end of this period, because right now Mississauga has just absolutely stunned this Battalion team.
There's a turnover at the line. Coming down the ice is Bloom, 2-on-1. He drops it back to the trailer. Van Steensel, the shot is stopped. Rebound is under the goaltender, and they can't bury it as it's cleared out of the area. Back into the neutral zone. The Steelheads now coming in over the blue line, and the play is blown down. The Mississauga goaltender Bellieri had his helmet knocked off, so they whistle the play down, and that was a good chance for the Battalion, crashing the crease there, but just not able to beat Belliari.
We saw this in the Windsor game a little bit in the first period of the Windsor game, where they struggled when they have multiple people kind of going to the net. And again, what the Battalion end up doing is they kind of bunch together and they don't allow those passes to really become as crisp as they could be. And they do crash the net, which is good, but there was no Battalion player who was in like a really good spot near the near kind of the side of the net where they could put that puck in. And they do, again, it's that bunching up. If they can kind of spread out a little bit and allow these rebounds to naturally come to their sticks, I think they'd have a couple of better scoring opportunities in some of these second chance opportunities.
And that was one of the first big mistakes that Mississauga made, basically just giving the puck away at the blue line. But it did not hurt them as they dump it back into the North Bay zone, and the play continues in the far side corner. Procession trying to get the puck out of that area, and he feeds it down the right side boards for Van Steensel. Van Steensel dumps it out high. It's a foot race to it. Romani gets to the puck first, but he runs out of real estate down the right wing. He carries it behind the net. Now he centers it in front. There's a bouncing puck, but nobody there to really put it towards the front of the net. So it bounces in the corner and back down the half boards, and now it's just moved along the board, shoveled out of the area. Still stuck at the blue line. North Bay bat it back in, and Mississauga turn it right back over and come down the other way. Zabinski, who has the second goal of the game for Mississauga, puts it right in front of the net. Cook is right there, but he can't bury it. Left all alone on the blue paint, and he had DiVincentis down and out of position, but he could not put the puck in the net.
I do not know how he missed that, because that went way past DiVincentis' shoulder, and I can't believe Cook had like all the time in the world there, nobody around him in that low slot area, and it's just, again, the Battalion not able to pick up some of these players that are coming up in behind the play, and they seem to be focusing way too much on the puck than playing their role in the system that Houlihan has playing.
Out to the neutral zone. Petrov coming down with speed down the left wing. Takes a shot, just goes wide, glove side. Back to line, Christopoulos sends it in. That one's blocked. Mississauga go the other way. Stretch pass out to Hardy. It's up just past him, but he gets it off the end boards in front of the net, and he shoots it wide. Boy, Mississauga really making use of the boards on that play there. Mississauga keep the puck alive inside the North Bay zone. Play into the corner. Wakely intercepts that pass, and they look to play it out, and they do get it out ahead to Tarasevic. Tarasevic dumps it in. It's off the end boards in front of the Mississauga net, but he can't get a shot off. The puck goes back to the near side boards. Wakely's there, feeding it down to the point, but it's taken away by the Steelheads, and they carry it out of the zone. 4:30 to go in the second period. 2-0 Mississauga lead. In behind the net, now to the near side, trying to play it to the middle. McDonald gets in the way and chips it out into the neutral zone. It's Harding who gets control of the puck there. He carries it all the way to the Mississauga blue line. Now McDonald throws a huge hit on Harding, and the Battalion have the puck. They try to get it over the blue line, but they got stopped there. Mississauga take over possession of the puck. They feed it down the right wing boards, but that bounces off the boards and back out to the middle where North Bay take over. Christopoulos gets it up ahead off the stick of McDonald, deflected right towards Belliari, and he holds on to it for the stoppage and play. 3:57 to go. It's 2-0 Mississauga.
Well, the Battalion have unfortunately played, the last two times these teams have met, have both been on the back end of a back-to-back, and both times the Battalion have kind of felt flat. But one of the things that we have noticed is when the Battalion do play back-to-back games, they tend to be flat in the first period, but then they pick it up, and so far, we talked about how they kind of turned the Jets on in the last 30 minutes of the hockey game. So far in the second period, they just really haven't been able to do that, and you got to wonder like how tired this team really is coming off that game against Sudbury.
Off the draw, there's a hit in the corner. Bloom throwing his man in the area, and the puck goes around to the far side boards. Now to the point, Nelson's there, takes a shot wide of the net. Rebound chance is stopped as well. Now a wraparound chance for McDonald gets denied. Play back in behind the net. Jackson can't find it. It goes to the far side boards. Now back in the corner, Harding's there. Bounces around behind the net, picked up by Larson of the Steelheads, and he clears it out of the zone. Now it's Hislop who brings it down. His pass up the middle is blocked. Now Schwinn has a chance for Mississauga. He tries to feed it up ahead, but Nelson gets in the way. Puck ends up in the near side corner in the North Bay zone. Back out in front. They can't get the shot off. Now North Bay tries to go forward with the puck. Hislop with a chance to get it out, and he does. Slaps that puck out to the neutral zone, but Mississauga gain control. Leskovar coming in towards DiVincentis, and he makes the stop on the shot. Rebound right back out in front. DiVincentis sprawling out, but the puck goes up over his shoulder, and it's in the back of the net. The Steelheads have a 3-goal lead with 3 minutes to play in the second period.
Well, it's hard to blame DiVincentis for the 3 goals so far, as this has been a very poor defensive game from the Battalion, and really not something that you're used to seeing from this North Bay team. We've seen them play bad defensively from time to time, but this is definitely the worst that we've seen them in the last, probably since they came back from the Christmas break, at least, as they've struggled. They've been collapsing into the puck. They haven't been picking up rebounds. They haven't been kind of boxing out that high slot area, and they're allowing way too many second chance opportunities, and they're lucky that this is not a 5-0 game at this point.
The coaching staff of the Battalion were looking at the tablet to see if there might have been goaltender interference. We got an overhead shot here in the rink looking at that goal, and it looked good. And obviously, as play gets underway here, there was nothing that the officials saw to warrant that one calling back. But yeah, it's just too bad. I mean, the Battalion 3 times on that sequence could have cleared the puck, and they just didn't.
And it's where it's frustrating because, again, you talk about how, they could be tired, but you can't really make excuses for that.
Down the ice. Here come the Mississauga Steelheads again on the breakaway, and they get denied that time. Going right towards the net was Angus McDonald. He had a goal earlier in the game, and he almost beat DiVincentis for a second one there. 2 minutes to go in the second. It's a 3-0 Mississauga lead. They are back in the North Bay zone again. Puck off the far side boards at the point. North Bay trying to get in the way of those passes, and they do. Winslow has the puck. He sends it to the near side of Christopoulos, who gets it out to the neutral zone, but it's turned over again. And Mississauga send it back in. Christopoulos finds the loose puck. He gets it back out to the neutral zone, but very quickly Mississauga play it up ahead. Now it's off a skate back in the Mississauga zone, but Mississauga retrieves it and gets it out again. Procession now finds the loose puck in the neutral zone. He dumps it in. Romani plays it behind the net. He goes in the corner, gets knocked off the puck, and Mississauga will clear it out of the zone. 1:25 to go in the second period. Mississauga with a 3-0 lead. North Bay get the puck up ahead to Romani, who comes in on the right wing side. He plays it behind the net for Wakely. Wakely tries to dish it off to the boards, but it's out of the reach of Winslow, and it'll be Christopoulos, his defense partner, chasing it down the ice. Winslow with a stretch pass to Romani. Romano feeds it ahead to Wakely. All alone in front of the net. They score! Wakely's rebound went right to the stick of Petrov, and the Battalion are on the board. It's 3-1 with 1:01 to play in the second period.
Well, when you need a spark, who else but Matvei Petrov, it seems. He is all over the scoring, but to be fair, this is all started with Romani taking a feed, getting down the side, getting it to Wakely, having that opportunity. And we talked about those second chance opportunities, and Petrov finally is there to get and to bury the rebound. What a great play by Petrov to pick that up, but it's all started with Wakely, and Dallin Wakely's coming off a 2-goal game. He's having a great season again. Very sneaky good season for Dallin Wakely. He kind of gets lost in the fray a little bit, but you got to be happy with what you see, and of course Petrov putting it away, and this is where we can start seeing a little bit more momentum go to the Battalion side.
62 career goals for Matvei Petrov, his 155th, his 160th career OHL point, and the North Bay Battalion forward also leads with 70 points on this team, and he leads the league with 70 points as well.
Yeah,
that is
insane.
Impressive.
Might end up with Edmonton next year the way he's playing here.
Absolutely. Petrov sends it to the middle of Tarasevic. The Battalion looking for more before time winds out, but it's taken away from Tarasevic and sent out of the zone. So North Bay give themselves some life here as we are 10 seconds away from heading into the second intermission as Leskovar goes offside in the North Bay zone. But you're right, that was finally the North Bay Battalion finally drawing up a play that worked. Christopoulos from his own zone to Romani, and then he described it perfectly. The play just evolving from that point, and man, you're thinking if the Battalion could keep that momentum going into the third, Mississauga better watch out.
And that's what they do. They feed on momentum, and unfortunately, by letting that third goal in, it's now a 2-goal deficit versus a 1-goal deficit where you'd like to be, but you got to be happy.
Play back in front of the net, and they cannot bury it as time winds down. So number 22, with his 22nd goal of the season, makes it a 2-goal disadvantage for the North Bay Battalion after the second period of play. Hopefully that's enough news for you. Ben and Derek will break all that down in the second intermission. I hope you're enjoying tonight's broadcast. We'll have more on the way. It's the Average Joe's Game Day broadcast right here on the Frontline Broadcast YouTube channel.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sucrum, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And welcome back inside Memorial Gardens, where the Mississauga Steelheads take a 3-1 lead over the North Bay Battalion into the second intermission. My name's Derek Lindemann. I'm joined by Ben Sargent. Let's take a look at the scoring summary in that second period, as it was Mason Zabeski, his 4th of the season at 11:50, made it 2-0 for the Steelheads. Dazzotti and Cook with the assist on Zabeski's goal. And then Porter Matone with his 10th of the season at 17-minute mark made it a 3-0 game. It was Stevie Leskoff over with the assist on the Martone goal. And Matvey Petrov, 22nd year, at 18:51 closed that gap to 2 as the period expired there. Wakely and Romani with the assist on that goal. Only one penalty in that second period, and that was Brett Bouchard went off for tripping at 8:03. Shots on goal in the second period, the Steelheads 12 for a game total of 26. Battalion adding another 8 shots in that second period for a total of 16. Steelheads 0 for 3 with the man advantage, and the Battalion still 0 for 1 on the power play. 3 other games in the OHL on this Thursday evening. One of them is already complete, as it was the Guelph Storm defeating the Erie Otters 4-3, needing a shootout in that one. In Peterborough, the Petes have a 3-2 lead over the Ice Dogs, a minute left in the second period. And the other game sees the Windsor Spitfires hosting the Sioux Greyhounds, and the Spitfires with a 6-3 lead there. 3:30 left in the second period. Shane Wright back in the lineup tonight for the Windsor Spitfires with a goal and an assist. No games in the NHL tonight as they were off for the All-Star break. The game will be coming up this weekend. So nothing to talk about in the NHL, but a lot going on here at Memorial Gardens as the Battalion trail 3-1. Well, Ben, not the game we expected coming into tonight, knowing that the Steelheads were a team that really were a seller at the trade deadline. North Bay taking them a little too easy going into tonight's game.
Yeah, and I think this is Mississauga taking advantage of a very tired team. If you're the Battalion now, yes, in this league you play a lot of back-to-backs, and we've seen the Battalion on the back end of those back-to-backs. But tonight it feels a little different, right? It feels like everything's sloppy. It feels like they can't get anything going. I think that Petrov goal is going to be a big starter into this third period. Generally, they'll play sloppy in the first period. They'll turn it on, and we saw that at the beginning of the second period. But 90% of that period was all Mississauga. They ended up getting 2 more goals on. Again, it could be a 5-1 game at this point for Mississauga if some of those shots found the net when they could have. And it's just a very sloppy game right now. But if you're the Battalion, you look at it and you say you're down by 2 goals. We're a team that can score a lot of goals in a very short amount of time. This is not an insurmountable deficit right now. This is something that they can definitely get a couple of goals here in this third period, but I think it's going to be how they come out. They need to come out aggressive. They need to score 1 in the first half of this third period, and if they do, I think it's very likely that they can at least tie this game, get it to overtime, if not win it back, and we've seen how many times they can come back in games.
And that's exactly it. Going into the third period, you see yourself down 2. You know you're a team that can put a lot of goals in the net, as we've seen the Battalion amongst the leaders in goals scored this year. Almost have to break it down, like you said, into 2 separate halves. Try and get one in that first 10-minute mark, and then see what you can do down the stretch. Either get a game-time goal and maybe even an eventual game winner. Battalion, you know what, they're not out of it, but they really have to start gelling together. Just passes are just not reaching the sticks, either just a little bit ahead or behind the player.
Yeah, and the big thing too is we're not seeing the big numbers. Yes, Petrov did score the goal, but he didn't really make that goal happen. It was Christopoulos, it was Romani, it was Wakely who really created those opportunities. We need to see these big guys. We need to see Jacksons and the Blooms and the McDonalds, and even Ty Nelson. We haven't seen him jump into the rush too often. These are the difference makers in this Battalion team, and they need to be the ones who take command and make things happen in that top. We need that top line to synergize together and really have good shifts, put on offensive pressure, and let the rest of the game come to them. If they can't get that, it's going to be a tough third period, I think, if they have to keep relying on these kind of bottom 6 forwards.
Couple key notes is seeing the Battalion, couple players, Kyle Jackson, Matvei Petrov, working their way up in the point category. Currently, it's Petrov atop of the scoring leaders in the OHL. That goal today was his 70th point. He had 90 last year, so another good season for Petrov. Jackson sneaking up there, 67 points, currently tied for second. Did you ever expect that you would see 2 players such as Jackson and Petrov in the top of the scoring?
It's kind of hard to believe, but when you see these guys play, it's very often. And I think Jackson's actually not played that great of hockey lately in the month of January. Not that he's been bad. He's been putting points on the board. It just feels like 5-on-5, he hasn't been the player that we know that he can be. And the good news for the Battalion is if he can refine that, and the same thing with Josh Bloom, if they can refine that scoring prowess, you know how much more dangerous this team can be. And what more can you say about Matvei Petrov? Now 9 points, 2 goals, 7 assists in 4 games against the Mississauga Steelheads. Absolutely ridiculous. And might be bad news though for the Battalion, because if you're Edmonton, you have to be, and you look at the season that they're having, you could almost think like maybe there's a chance that he cracks that opening day lineup next year with the Oilers. And then you look on the other side, you look at a guy like Ty Nelson. He's another guy, if you're Seattle, with the season that he's having, it's not a hard thing to see. Maybe he gets that 8-game kind of tryout as well. So I think it'll be interesting going into next season, but these guys are absolutely fantastic so far. But you can't say anything much better than Petrov. If Petrov wasn't playing the way he was, I don't think the Battalion would be where they are right now.
No, and you got to think that Jackson and Petrov aren't on the same lineup other than out on the power play. So these 2 guys are doing scoring on separate lines. Yeah. It's really interesting to see how the Battalion do have that scoring spread out across 2 lines this year and getting the odd goal chipped in from that 3rd and 4th line.
Yeah, and I think with today, the one thing that I find interesting, you talk about the 3rd or 4th line, they're really the ones who are pushing this game. And if you look at the Windsor game too, there were places where it wasn't the top 2 lines going; it was that 3rd line that was getting things going. And I think one of the things that are very interesting in this game is I love the way that Ethan Procession is playing. This is kind of his opportunity with Arnsby still out and now with Zito out to get some more minutes. And I think he's doing a really good job on that 3rd line. And he's really getting a chance to highlight how good of a player that he can be. Again, you look at him, you look at Terry, and these guys are kind of the future of the offense when you consider that they have a lot of overagers next year. This is not going to be the same Battalion team, and it's going to be interesting again. Adam Dennis is going to have to try to supplement that with more talent, and these are the guys that you got to look for. And I think giving Procession that kind of ice time, I think, is helping him a lot, and he's having a very good game so far.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how well Procession has fit in as that 3rd center tonight. And one of the players in our Mike, the financial advisors player to watch, was an 06 draft pick last year, 5th overall, Porter Malone. So let's take a look at how our players to watch did in the first 40 minutes.
Players to Watch is brought to you by Mike the Financial Advisor. If you have financial questions, he has financial answers. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike the FA.
Our player to watch for the Mississauga Steelheads, Porter Martin, with a goal in that second period. He had the third Steelheads goal. He has a +1 rating, 2 shots, 1 for 3 in the face-off dot. And Nikita Tarasevich has been held off the score sheet. 0s across the board and 0 for 1 in the face-offs. Not really what we expected from Tarasevich. He has looked good out there, and it was his line that did get that goal for the Battalion.
Yeah, he's looked interesting. He's had his opportunities, but it feels like because they've been in their defensive zone so much this game, and they have been flat-footed in the neutral zone, their transition game just has not existed at all in this game. And if their transition game was solid, this would be a different game. You can see the way that Mississauga is playing 3 forwards deep on the forecheck, which means that if you have 3 forwards yourself going the other way, you're going to have odd-man rushers a lot of the time. And with the Battalion speed, you're going to get a lot of breakaway opportunities. That's not happening because they're tired, they're not playing well, they're not really synergized right now. But at the end of the day, I think right now, if you look at Tarasevich, he's not bad, but he's not really getting a lot of opportunities. If you look at Martin, on the other hand, with the Steelheads, if you look at their 3 goals, no goals from that top line so far. You look at a guy like Hardy. The Battalion do this thing, at least at home, where they're able to shut down the big goal scorers of the opposing team. Hardy kept off the score sheet, which is kind of a big thing considering he is by far their best point getter for the Steelheads.
Pre-game ceremony today on it. Maria Domenico. Yesterday was Women in Sports Day of Recognition up in Sudbury. They recognized Sudbury-owned Tessa Benham before the game. Today, the North Bay Battalion recognizing Maria Domenico, coming back from winning a gold medal with the University Games. Team Canada, leading Team Canada in goals, 5 goals, 11 points, second in points. What an accomplishment for Maria Domenico.
Yeah, and it's great, and it's really nice to see those kind of people who do stuff at kind of an international or more national scale getting recognized here. As sometimes you think of North Bay, and it's like kind of a smaller city in the kind of grand scheme of things. So it's great to see people from the community who excel and do really great, and then they get recognized here, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. She's done a great job.
You can catch her next weekend. Unfortunately, the Lady Lakers are on the road this weekend. Next weekend, they have a pair of home games against the number 1 ranked University of Toronto Varsity Blues, who will be in town on Friday the 10th, and then again Saturday 11th. Both of those games are 7 o'clock puck drops right here at Memorial Gardens. You can catch it on OUA TV if you can't make it out to the Gardens. Our other team we covered, the Powassan Voodoos, I was lucky enough to be down there last night as they defeated the French River Rapids by a score of 5-2. They're on the road this weekend also. They're up in Espanola taking on the Paper Kings on Friday night, and then they'll be in Kirkland Lake Saturday to take on the Gold Miners. They'll return home next weekend. Also on February 10th, they'll be taking on the same Espanola Paper Kings. And then on the 11th, they'll be playing host to the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners. And that game, they're going to be hoping people will bring food for the Powassan Food Bank. If you bring a non-perishable food item, you'll have your name entered into a draw, and you have the opportunity to win 1 of 2 Valentine's Day gift baskets. And you know what? Perfect timing there, as Valentine's Day is only 3 days after that. So what a perfect gift for your loved one, Ben. You should go out there and try and win one of those baskets.
Oh, yeah, and if you've ever been to Powassan for a game, the one thing is it's obviously a very relatively small rink, but there's a lot of people who show up to those games. It's usually packed, and it's a very fun atmosphere, a very interesting atmosphere. A lot of rowdy people there. If you want to see kind of people get mad at referees and big plays that hit on the ice, you know, Powassan's the place to be. It's always a fun place to catch a game as well. And, of course, if you can't make it out there, you can always listen to it here on the front line.
Yeah, exactly, the front line. The front line will be covering this tomorrow evening. The New Lister Cubs are in town to take on the U18 Trappers. They'll be out in Powassan. That's a 7:30 puck drop out there at the Powassan Sportsplex. If you want to watch that game, you can watch it all here on the Frontline YouTube channel, and that's exactly where we'll be. And then we're going to be back here Sunday as it's the Kingston Frontenacs. We'll be in town. Pay attention because that's a 4 o'clock start on Sunday, as that is part of Hockey Day in Ontario. Wow, still 20 minutes left to go here, and the Battalion have to do some work in the third period as they trail the Mississauga Steelheads by a score of 3-1. When we return, Matt Sukram will rejoin Ben Sargent for all of your actions as it's the Steelheads Battalion on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
Welcome back. Matthew Sucrum with you here alongside Ben Sargent. Ben, the Battalion trailed by 2 as we're about to get period number 3 underway.
Yeah, it's all about, again, this is going to be very important. You're down by 2, but you have kind of a little bit of momentum here as Petrov scoring right near the end of that period, and Monty almost put another one in the net. It's going to be very important for the Battalion here in the first half of this period to get at least one back and then try and scrape together at least one more in the next 10 minutes.
North Bay win the draw, and they play it back towards their own blue line. It's Christopoulos sending it down the right side to Tarasevich, who chips it up ahead to Wakely, comes in the zone, takes a shot, big rebound given up, but nobody there in the slot for North Bay to get that rebound shot towards the net, and so the puck gets played to the near side boards, but they cannot clear it over the blue line, so Mississauga will try again. They feed it around behind the net. Now back around to the near side. Puck still in the Mississauga zone. Play to the far side and finally cleared by the Steelheads, and it's turned over. Vecchia going in towards the net. Shot save made by DiVincentis. And now the rebound comes back from the corner in the slot, and Hardy's shot just goes wide of the net. North Bay are able to pick up that puck and clear it out. It's Tarasevich coming in the zone. Tarasevich down the right wing side, feeds it to Petrov in the middle. The shot, and that one gets blocked. About 4 Steelhead players getting in the way of the shot. Check that was Procession, not Petrov, and now Procession gives it to Tarasevich, who flips it up high. It's over the glass and out of play. 18:56 to go. It's a 3-1 Mississauga lead.
Well, good start for the Battalion, but again, Mississauga winning those kind of puck battles and those puck races as, again, they slip behind the Battalion defense and almost have a great chance on DiVincentis, though right in a bad angle, so an easy save for him there. But again, you can tell, I think the Battalion really battling, again, this fatigue, and I think it's going to be a very interesting period to see if they can find the back of the net at least 2 more times.
Face-off in the near side circle is won by Mississauga and dumped all the way down the ice. DiVincentis plays it to the right side. Nelson flips it in behind the net for his lob. He gives it back to the far side boards to Romani, and he will clear it out of the zone. 8:40 to play in the third period. 3-1 Mississauga lead as North Bay bring it back behind their own blue line, and now they dump it in, and it will be an icing call against the Battalion with 18:31 to play in the third period.
Well, the Battalion are a team that is kind of interesting, and when their passing is crisp, they're a very good team. When their passing is not crisp, they're not a very good team. And we've seen here today again, their passing they're missing sticks, they're bouncing over sticks, they don't have the zip on them. And that's kind of been a difference maker in this game, is just the ability to make passes, which seems very basic, but it's really been the difference maker.
Just out of the reach of Van Steensel, going down into the Mississauga zone, and the puck gets pushed back into the North Bay end. Behind the net, DiVincentis leaves it for Lukin. Lukin lost it. It's in the far side corner. Mississauga send it around the near side boards. Sharp centers it. It's deflected right towards DiVincentis, and he holds onto it for a stoppage and play. And once again, it's just the Battalion. I don't know if it's miscommunication or just being a little bit lazy on the puck, but yeah, they are giving Mississauga way too much time in the offensive zone.
Yeah, and it's just, again, they don't have that pep in their step, it seems like right now, and it's kind of frustrating to watch from a fan perspective, and also from, like, I'm sure that Ryan Ulan is looking at it kind of frustrated, where there's all these opportunities that are kind of being wasted here by the Battalion, that they keep giving up. They're giving up way too many opportunities, and it's just every single person on the ice right now seems to be affected by it.
McDonald gets the puck up to the North Bay blue line. Jackson's there. He feeds it to Lukin. Lukin to Bloom. Bloom back into the corner, looking for Lukin there. The puck goes around to the far side. Mississauga get it out of the area, and they will clear it. Down the ice, carrying the puck are the Steelheads. McDonald sends it to the far side boards. Kennedy finds it. Kennedy stretch pass out ahead to Bloom. Bloom ran out of room, though, on the near side boards, and Mississauga take the puck away from him. And they dub it back down the ice. Now DiVincentis plays it up ahead again to Bloom at the blue line. Bloom going in, past the defense, in on net, but a poke check made on the back check from Harding. But Harding's actually going to get called for a hook on that play, so he will go to the box. And North Bay have a big opportunity on the power play here in the third period with 17:20 to go.
What a heads-up play by DiVincentis there. Kind of a bad change from Mississauga, as every single person goes off for a change. Bloom's wide open on the near side by the blue line, and DiVincentis finds him there and gets an absolutely great chance and draws a penalty, and exactly what you need now.
North Bay win the draw. Nelson to the left side boards. Bloom down to McDonald. Back up high. Shot from Petrov and stopped. Rebound chances slapped away to the far side. Picked up there by Jackson. Jackson holding it, going to the left side circle now. Jackson running out of room as he sends it back up high to Nelson. Nelson back down low to Jackson. In towards the net. McDonald's right there. He tries to backhand it in, but that gets stopped and the puck goes bouncing to the far side and cleared out of the zone. 16:45 to play in the period. A minute 25 to go in the power play for the Battalion. They trail 3-1 in this game. And this is their second power play opportunity of the contest. I don't think there were any power plays called in that second period. Were there?
No, very clean.
Just the one against, no, never mind.
Yeah, very sloppy from the Battalion, but very clean from a penalty perspective.
In towards the net, poked away, and sent out of the zone.
Again, another instance with the Battalion where they just can't get zone entry at all in their power play, and they just struggle trying to regain that offensive chance.
Jackson sends it to the middle of the zone, bouncing around a couple players in the area. The puck gets kicked to the far side boards, now back in front, and Bloom's deflection just goes wide of the net. Into the slot, and it's picked up and sent down the ice. 30 seconds to go in the power play for the North Bay Battalion. Still being outshot 28-19, as now they're struggling just to get it out of their own zone. They finally bring it forward. Van Steensel coming in on the left side, drops it back to Wakely. Wakely at the blue line to Winslow. To the right side, the shot comes in, it's deflected high, off the glass, trying to play it behind the net is Tarasevic. He finds it, sends it to Wakely. Wakely on net, finds it wide. And that will end the power play opportunities. Harding is out of the box, and he's got the puck racing down the ice. Harding went towards the net, but he lost the puck on the poke check. But now it's turned over in front of the net. Vecchio on the backhand. He gets denied by DiVincentis. What a save off the blocker of DiVincentis. And the play continues here. 5 minutes gone in the third period. Still a 3-1 lead for Mississauga. They almost made it a 4-1 lead on that play right there. Still on the far side boards. North Bay get it up to the line. Mississauga keep it in. Play it down low. Now it's shot back up ahead. And the Battalion get it out. Tarasevic going in the zone. Tarasevic trying to get around Von Richter, it's in the corner, and the Steelheads win the possession of the puck there, and they clear it out to the neutral zone. That's where Christopoulos has it. He gets up to the line and backhands it in, sends it to the far side corner, down the half boards. Mississauga in control, then they get it out of their zone. It's Von Richter in the neutral zone. He turns it over. North Bay looking to go the other way. They've got a 3-on-2 if they get their legs moving here. It's Terrien down the left wing side in the zone. Takes a shot, save made, and the puck is held onto by the goaltender, Belliari. And now there's a lot of pushing and shoving going on, and the fourth line of the Battalion are not taking any prisoners here. Everybody's got a dancing partner. Terrien is being held in a headlock.
Well, they're a physically small.
And now there's a player that's ripping Terrien around on his jersey. So he's going to get some support. Two players are being led to the penalty boxes. That looks like Vecchia of Mississauga and Bouchard of the Battalion. So the fourth line, they have not had a boring shift this game.
No, and they're a physically small line. Like, you look at Terrien, about 5'7". You look at McQueen Pierce, about the same size. Same thing with Bouchard, and both of them just very aggressive. And this just starts off with Bouchard knocks a Steelheads player right over Belliari, and yeah, you got to defend you from there. And it looks like it'll be both of them are going to get roughing minors here, so it looks like 4-on-4 hockey for the next 2 minutes. And Battalion, again, they're just a step behind every time, and not a lot of good scoring opportunities. And you know, you can't wait for this all of a sudden to be 8 minutes, 6 minutes left in this period before you get a second goal. You've got to take advantage here early, and we haven't seen that speed from the Battalion that really puts them apart from other teams.
14 minutes to play in the third period. And like Ben said, it's offsetting roughing calls, so it'll be 4-on-4 now for the next 2 minutes. Mississauga, bring it in. Turn the puck over behind the net, and Winslow has it for North Bay. Plays it down the right side boards to Jackson. He carries it up to the blue line, and he's got some space now down the left wing side. Going into the Mississauga zone, takes a shot. It's off the side of the net, and Mississauga get the rebound, and they will carry it up to the line, and now they will drop it back in front of their own net. Wait for some fresh legs out there, and now they play it forward again. Martoni coming in. He plays it towards the end boards. It's knocked out of that area. McDonald with it for North Bay. Sets it up to Bloom down the left wing side boards. He plays it out to the neutral zone to Nelson. Nelson coming in on the right side. Feeds it in front, looking for Bloom, but it was just knocked away by Belliari. In the neutral zone, Hislop with a hit on Dezzotti. And no call coming there. He might have got away with one.
Yeah, it looked a little high, didn't it?
Just a spit high, yeah. 40 seconds to go in the offsetting penalties of 4-on-4 play here. 12:40 to play in the third period. It's a 3-1 Mississauga lead. And as the puck got sent into the Mississauga zone, it actually went off the glass and into the bench. So that will call the play down. Mississauga had a goal in the first period. McDonald, his 16th. And then in the second period, Zabeski with his 4th and Martone with his 10th made it a 3-0 lead before Petrov scored in 18:59, his 22nd of the season. And that is where we are right now with a 3-1 score. Play back underway. North Bay looking for control deep in the zone. It comes back up high. Christopoulos keeps it in at the blue line. Christopoulos has some room in the middle. He feeds it down low, but it's kicked away off some skates and then sent to the far side corner. But Wakely has it there. Wakely tried to pass in the middle. He got blocked. Now Romani finds it. His pass in the middle is blocked as well. And the puck gets finally knocked out of the zone by the Steelheads on about the 4th attempt. North Bay bring it right back in. Romani coming down the middle. Takes a shot. Stopped. Christopoulos with a rebound, and he fires it wide. Picked up on the near side by Romani. Romani on the half boards. Into the corner. They battle there. Vecchia's down there. He lost the puck. Wakely gets it back. Again knocked off some skates, but helping him out is Van Steensel. He carries it down the boards. Now he plays it behind the net. Wakely's there for North Bay. He falls on top of the puck, and then it squirts out from under him, and Mississauga get it out of the zone. We're back to 5-on-5 play now with 11:35 to go in this 3-1 Mississauga lead in the third. Mississauga have the puck in the neutral zone. They carry it down. Zedlicki stopped at the line, and North Bay chip it ahead to the neutral zone. Van Steensel gets it up to Tarasevich. He lost it coming in over the blue line. And that's too many men on the ice as the pass goes to the bench. And the players stepping on the ice for the Steelheads played the puck. And so Mississauga are going back to the box here. It's going to be the third power play of the game for North Bay, and they are down by 2, and they really got to take advantage here.
Yeah, and that's one of those, like, bench finders will kill you, and unfortunately, that's why you usually don't want to throw it to your bench when there's changes happening. As when you're a player, you get off, the immediate thing you want to do is play that puck, and this is, again, we talked about the Battalion earlier on. They had a power play opportunity earlier on, couldn't get anything going with it, and if their power play needs to get going here, we need to see, again, the Jacksons, the Nelsons getting on the score sheet, making things happen. It's been a pretty poor power play so far, especially once the puck gets cleared, and this is where they have to get at least one in the net.
North Bay win the draw. Nelson to the right side. Petrov back to Nelson at the blue line. Down low to the circle, McDonald. Up high to Petrov. Pass to Nelson on the left side circle. Walking in, feeds it down low. Off the end boards, McDonald there. Shot, save, rebound chance. They score! It's all about the Bloom as Josh Bloom makes it a 1-goal game.
Well, I said they had to score, and they must have heard me because that's what they did. And, man, Josh Bloom, we talked about his 10-game scoreless streak. It was going on since the December 28th game against Sudbury where he scored 2-0 until the Windsor game when he finally broke that. He got another one against Niagara. With Kelso, obviously, everybody was held off the score sheet against Oshawa, held off against Sudbury. Finally, and if Bloom can get kind of going here, and we've seen another goal from him, third goal in 5 games. If he can get it going a little bit more, watch out. And a big power play goal for the Battalion.
24th goal of the season for Josh Bloom, the Buffalo Sabres draft pick, with a big one there to make it a 3-2 game with still half the third period to go here in the third.
And again, we talked about getting a goal in the first 10 minutes. Still over 10 minutes to go. Lots of time to tie it up, and it looks like they're going back on the power play again.
That was Procession that was pushed in the far side corner. And as Mississauga gain control of the puck, they will go right back to the power play. So this is what, their third now? In this period?
Yeah, and this is, again, we saw them get that goal, and what did we say? It has to be the Jacksons and the Blooms and the Nelsons getting it going. They're going to get another opportunity. This top power play unit of Petrov, Jackson, Bloom, Nelson, and McDonald are going to be out here trying to do it again. And if they can control by the point, and they can get that kind of going, and they can control down behind the net, that's where they thrive the most on power plays.
Mississauga comes into the game with the 19th ranked penalty kill in the league. And so this is going to be, again, a big opportunity for the North Bay Battalion to try and tie this game. Petrov down the right wing side, coming in towards the corner. Feeds it around the near side for McDonald. McDonald trying to play it up high, but it splits the D, and chasing it down is Bloom all the way to his own end. 10 minutes to go in the period. North Bay down 3-2, but they've got the extra man out there for the next minute 20. The puck is inside the Mississauga zone. McDonald down low. It's out in front, and he fires it just wide. It was actually Bloom that fed it to McDonald in front, and he just missed.
Yeah, Battalion, all of the momentum right now, so even if you can get a lot of really good opportunities and you don't necessarily score, it's all about continuing to tilt that ice in your favor.
Dumped into the Mississauga zone. It comes to the near side boards. Nelson feeds it to McDonald across to the right side to a wide open Jackson, but he could not pull the trigger there. He was trying to put the brakes on to get control of that puck, but he just could not make it all happen in the space that he was given. 40 seconds to go on the North Bay power play. Up ahead to Bloom, coming in. Bloom trying to split the D. He gets knocked into the near side and carries it to the boards. Now they get it back to the far side. It's Petrov in control there. Petrov in the middle to Bloom. Up high to Jackson. To the right side circle, Petrov. Petrov will circle back to the blue line. Now Jackson, one-time shot is stopped. Rebound is right on net. And it's Belliari freezing the puck. 18 seconds to go on the power play. 8:50 to play in the third period. North Bay down 3-2.
Well, we talked about the Battalion bunching up, and this is an instance where both Bloom and McDonald are in the exact same spot of the ice. where one of them really should have been over in the high slot area to pick up any rebounds that could have come that way. And that's something that I've seen the Battalion do a lot lately. It's just everybody bunching up into one spot, not spreading out, not getting those second chance opportunities. And I would have loved to see either Bloom or McDonald kind of more in that low slot on the other side of Belliari.
Secondary unit out there now, and they can't win the draw. It's sent all the way down the ice, so 10 seconds to go in the North Bay power play. With 8:35 to play in the period, Christopoulos brings it down the left wing side, over the blue line. Christopoulos going into the corner. He tries to send it in the middle to Van Steensel. It's knocked off his stick, and now Mississauga go the other way. They get it to the line, and they go offside. 8:21 to play. We'll be back as we hit the halftime mark. It's 3-2 Mississauga.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news or access the alumni job portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
Derek's downstairs between the benches. Derek, just what the doctor ordered for the North Bay Battalion, getting a goal at the end of the second period and one in the first half of the third, and now they're within a goal here against the Steelheads.
Yeah, that goal kind of lifted the spirits a bit on the bench for the North Bay Battalion. You can see Josh Bloom come in the back for that drive-by of the train handshake, telling the players, like, let's get going. Come on, let's go. We've got this. We're within one now. And I know during the intermission we were talking, Ben Sargent and myself, about needing a goal in that first 10 minutes. Battalion got a couple opportunities, and we're able to get that goal. And now we'll make an exciting 8:21 because it's only a one-goal game, Matt. And you know what? Battalion look to be coming on here in the third.
And interesting that Derek pointed out that it was Josh Bloom saying that, and that was one of the things that Adam Dennis wanted when he acquired Josh Bloom from Saginaw, is that leadership that he carries with him.
Yeah, and he did that when he came over. He was absolutely on fire for November, December, and would love to see him contribute a little bit more on the score sheet as he has been lately.
Picking up his 24th goal of the season here to make it a 3-2 game. North Bay now trying to get the puck out of their own zone. Mississauga in control. They feed it back around the end boards and to the near side. Petrov is there for North Bay. Chips it ahead to Wakely, and Wakely is able to get it out of the zone. But very quickly it's Mississauga who bat the puck down. They get it back in over the blue line, carrying it down the right side. The shot off the mask of DiVincentis, and then batted away out of the air by Christopoulos to deny a secondary chance for Mississauga in a good scoring area. Now Winslow has it on the far side boards. He sends it up ahead to Tarasevic, and Tarasevic dumps it down the ice. It's off the boards behind the net. It trickles into the far side corner. Mississauga take over and clear it. In the neutral zone, it's Hislop down the left wing boards. He sends it around. The Battalion getting some fresh legs out there. So going into the zone a little bit late, but Mississauga taking their time to get it out of the zone. They finally do. They dump it into the North Bay end, and Nelson colliding in the far side corner. The puck comes out of the zone, and North Bay player goes down hard at the end of that play. Hislop throwing Zabisky up against the boards, and it was Terrien that went down. Terrien slow to get up. He is up now, and again, what is it with this fourth line? Creating all kinds of havoc on the ice right now.
I know, they're rough, and that was one of those things where when I asked, I'm not sure if Terrien's maybe going. There's definitely one Mississauga player in the box. Zabesky's in the box right now for Mississauga, and I don't know if they're talking about Nelson's now.
Possibly a head check.
Yeah, but what I was talking about on the podcast with Terry, and I asked him, is that something you've always played, or is that some way you feel you have to play when you play in this league? And he just said he tries to do whatever he can to make a difference on the ice, and I think that's something he does even if he hasn't been scoring. But now we see Terrien going towards the penalty box, but I'm not too sure. Nobody knows. We're kind of confused. Nelson's now arguing why Terrien. He's saying he's getting cross-checked.
How do you get cross-checked from behind in the boards? And I think they're saying that Terrien shot it over the glass, and so it's a delay of game.
Yeah, that's kind of weird because it looks like it went into the benches, and it looks like maybe Derek has some something that he can help us out.
Let's go downstairs to Derek if we can get him here.
He has all the answers.
Usually.
Sometimes.
Derek, what's going on?
So what's going on is Terry's in the box, 2 minutes for delay of game. As he was about to take that hit, the puck went out over the glass. So he has to serve the 2 minutes for the delay of the game, and then Mississauga picking up the additional penalty on the hit afterwards. So we're going to see some 4-on-4 action here for the next 2 minutes, Matt.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lindemann.
Don't do that too often, do you?
7 minutes to go in the third period. It's a 3-2 Mississauga lead, and we've got more 4-on-4 action. We've played more time in this third period with 4 guys on the ice than we have with a 5-on-5, whether it's been power play or offsetting minors.
And that kind of works against the Battalion a little bit here because it continues
to get out of rhythm.
Yeah, and it continues to cut time off that clock because it's not going to be 5-on-5 till there's at least 5 minutes left in this game.
So it is a boarding call against Sebetsky, and Terry in for delay of game. A weird one there. Here comes Mississauga into the zone. Misa down the right side. Plays it back up, but it's picked off, and now Petrov gets it out of the zone. Petrov to Jackson over the blue line. Jackson back to Petrov on the right side circle. Back to Jackson, carries it to the half boards, feeds it through the slot. It's knocked away by the goaltender Belliari, and now played on the near side boards by Hislop. He carries it back up high in the zone. Fed down low to Nelson. Nelson back up high to Hislop, still on the left side. He goes back to the goal line to Petrov. Petrov switches spots with Hislop. Hislop has room in the middle a bit. Now he turns back to the left side. Hislop in the corner, carries back to the top of the circle. Hislop sends it to the middle. Petrov turns, fires, and it's off the shin of Larson, and Larson will just calmly circle the zone and skate it out into the neutral zone, going all the way into the North Bay end now. Stops on the near side boards, pass across the zone. Vecchia's right there, but he gets taken out of play, and North Bay end up with a puck. McDonald up ahead to Bloom, skating down the left wing side. Drops it back to McDonald over the blue line. McDonald coming in, shot just high. It goes back to the point to Christopoulos. He feeds it to McDonald in the corner. McDonald's pass to the point is blocked and carried out of the zone. Vecchia on the carry. He sends it into the North Bay end with 10 seconds to go on these offsetting minors here. With 5:10 to go, North Bay looking to get the puck out of the zone, and they will. McDonald coming in on the right wing side. Gets pushed away from the puck, and Mississauga will clear it as Zabesky and Terrien are back out onto the ice with 5 minutes to play. Here comes Vecchia. He gets knocked off the puck in North Bay, trying to get the puck moving through the neutral zone, but they just turn it over. And now Mississauga will look to go the other way with the puck. Down the right wing side, it's Vecchia again. Firing it in wide. It's off the glass. Dezzotti with the shot in. And it's wide of the net. Now it's Von Richter at the line. Back to the point. Shot comes in wide again. Mississauga looking for control on the near side boards. They won't get it. North Bay get it out of the zone. It's Romani right at center ice. Down the left wing for Van Steensel. He dumps it in behind the net. Played quickly out of the area by the Steelheads, and now stuck on the half boards on the near side. The puck comes out of that area, and it's carried down the ice by the Steelheads. Dezzotti drops it back to McDonald. He turns it over. Now it's given right back to Dezzotti, and he can't get the shot away as Wakely gets in the way and breaks up the play. With 4 minutes to go in the third period, it's a 3-2 lead. Mississauga get it out of their own zone, and they dump it right towards DiVincentis, who gloves it down for the stoppage of play. 3-2, Mississauga lead here in the third with 3:55 to go.
Well, I can tell these teams don't like each other very much. There tends to be some sort of scrum in between each whistle. But yeah, this is a game, a much better third period for the Battalion than we've seen in the first 40 minutes. But it almost feels too little too late right now as they're really struggling to get any offense going. And again, that 4-on-4 really killed their rhythm, as you said, Matt. And it's kind of one of those things where they've got to get some sort of momentum back with 4 minutes to go and still down a goal.
Well, these teams will see each other quite a bit in the last 3 months of the season. 2 months of the season, excuse me. Out to the neutral zone. Winslow plays it up ahead to Petrov. Petrov struggling to get it over the line, and Mississauga send it right back down the ice. 3:33 to play in the third. 3-2 Mississauga lead. Sharp dumps it in. On the far side corner, Tarasevich takes over there for North Bay. And Tarasevich will carry it out. Up to the center ice line, and he dumps it in. And Mississauga will take over the puck behind their own net as North Bay went out for a change. Sent down the ice. Christopoulos chasing it. He's got it right in front of his own goaltender. Turns the corner. Now he comes back up over the blue line. Sends it down the right wing for McDonald. McDonald plays it in front of the net. And the puck comes back up down the left wing side for Mississauga. Carried in. Going towards the front of the net. Now they turn back. Now they'll play it back behind the net. Jedlicki is there. He plays it to the point. Shot comes in. That one's wide of the net, but picked up off the boards. Mississauga still in control as they send it back in behind the net, and they are just wasting a lot of time for the Battalion here. North Bay finally get control of the puck, and now it's Jackson over the blue line. Jackson to the middle of the zone. His shot gets blocked. He gets his own rebound, carries it behind the net. Feeds it to McDonald down the near side. McDonald up high to Nelson. Nelson waits, takes a shot, stopped, gets his own rebound. He plays it to the corner. That one's picked off by the Steelheads, and they will clear it down the ice. Jedlicki dumping that one in. North Bay trying to get it going the other way. It's Bloom coming in on the left side with the shot right into the glove of Belliari, and that will be his 24th save of the game.
Well, the one thing about Battalion is they can come out of nowhere and score, but what has really hurt them this game is kind of their lack of transition. They haven't been able to get that transition game going, and which is usually a very big strength of this, and it looks like they might have called a timeout here, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the things though is like the transition games just has been non-existent, and I think that's what's hurt a lot of their offensive chances. And the other thing is when they have chances, they're not crashing the net. They're not getting those second opportunities off of rebounds off of Belliari, who's had a really solid game in net as well. I mean, he has 25 saves on 27 shots, and DiVincentis also has been very busy. 27 saves on 30 shots.
Yeah, no, both netminders have been busy, but there's also been a lot of rebounds given up. More so earlier in the game, they were really trying to fight the puck a little bit. That's kind of calmed down, but also the defenses have been a little bit more responsible in the latter half of this game.
Yeah, and I believe they're going to pull DiVincentis here as he's sitting on the bench. So I think they're going to go for 6 men here. 2 minutes left. Smart play. You get an offensive zone. They're going to have their top line out here. Looks like Jackson, McDonald. Obviously, Bloom is out there. Just seeing who the 6th guy is. It looks like Wakely will be the 6th man with Nelson and Petrov. It looks like they might be going here with 5 forwards. Nelson, the lone defenseman, it looks like.
Jackson wins the draw back to McDonald, but he turns the puck over. Now he gets it back in front of the net. Wakely was there, but he couldn't get the shot off, and the Steelheads are able to clear it. Nelson has it in the neutral zone. Plays it back up ahead to Bloom. Bloom dishes it off to the right side. Now Jackson walking in. Jackson couldn't get the shot off. It was right there, and it's sent down the ice. And now icing will not be called. It must have touched somebody in the neutral zone.
Yeah, I believe it hit a
and
Battalion
so it is going to be picked up by North Bay and coming back down the other way. It's Jackson down the left wing, dumps it in. Played in behind the net, back to the stick of Jackson. He centered it. Nobody there for North Bay. Mississauga with a chance to ice this game. They get it down the ice, but the puck gets knocked off the boards, and it's Petrov who has control of it behind the North Bay net. He sends it up ahead to Jackson. They'll try again. Jackson dumps it in on the right side corner, off the glass, playing it in behind the net. Now they send it to the corner with McDonald there, behind the net to Jackson. Jackson looking for some room. He sends it up high. Petrov with a slap shot. That's blocked. And now Hardy is going to go towards the empty net. Hardy sends it in. He scores. And the Mississauga Steelheads have a 4-2 lead with 51 seconds remaining.
Well, this is something that's really hurt the Battalion in this game, but it's what they have not been doing is getting guys in the high slot area, and what tend to happen is they tend to crash to the strong side, which means where the puck is, they have a lot of their players, and they don't have anybody behind. They don't have anybody in that high slot waiting for the rebounds, waiting for the passes out, and it's something that's really hurting them. It feels like they're not going into that kind of, if you think of the slot as this red box, it feels like the Battalion are afraid of going in there and getting kind of dirty, and there have been a lot of scoring opportunities that they missed out on because of that.
They also seem like they aren't as aware of what they want to do in the offensive zone. They're second-guessing themselves, and that is what has led to this 4-2 lead for the Steelheads with just 25 seconds remaining. And that's going to be a tough one. But again, this is their fourth game in 7 days now, as that one shot wide of the net.
Yeah, they're definitely tired, and I think you can tell that Sudbury game really took a lot out of them in this game. They've not looked good, and it's just one of those games that you just have to kind of, you're better than this.
The Steelheads go offside with 6.6 seconds remaining in the third period, and again, a 4-2 lead for the Mississauga Steelheads. So it is a 30th goal of the season for James Harding. Man, this guy has really racked up some points against the North Bay Battalion. That's his first point tonight, but he had 7 points going into this game against North Bay, with 6 of those being assists. So he's now got 8 points against North Bay in the head-to-head games, and the goal for Hardy ices it to put the Mississauga Steelheads up 4-2, and that's where we have our final. The Steelheads come into Memorial Gardens and take 2 points away from North Bay, who fail to catch up to Ottawa once again at the top of the Eastern Conference standings. And they lose 4-2 to Mississauga.
Yeah, and again, it's all about those extra points. And, these teams end the season off against each other on March 26th, so that's going to be another interesting point. But the Battalion just came out flat. They never got it to go. They had a good chance of getting back to it, but the reality is they just couldn't shake off the fatigue from playing Sudbury last game, and not their best effort. Probably the worst effort that we've seen on home ice so far in quite a bit.
So the Battalion will take on Kingston in their next game, but before we get there, we've got the La Herda Imports post-game show, and Ben and Derek will break all that down for you. Thank you for joining me. I'm Matthew Sukram. I'm going to sign off, and thank you for watching the Average Joe's Game Day broadcast right here on the Frontline Broadcast YouTube channel. The post-game show up next.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sukram, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And we're back here inside Memorial Gardens as it is the Mississauga Steelheads going away with a 4-2 victory over the North Bay Battalion as you have reached the Frontline post-game show brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Couple goals in that third period, one by each team, as it was the Steelheads leading by a score of 3-1 entering that third period. And Josh Bloom, with his 24th of the year at 8:57, cut that lead in half to 1 as Bloom, the 24th from McDonald and Nelson, but an empty netter by James Hardy, his 30th of the season, was the insurance marker at 19:09. Looking at shots on goal, the Steelheads only managed 5 shots in that third period for a game total of 31. Battalion getting 11 shots on goal for a game total of 27. On specialty teams, the Steelheads were unable to capitalize on 3 opportunities. Battalion did get 1 power play goal on 4 chances. Taking a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, 1 game already complete in the OHL this afternoon and 2 more late in the third period. The early game saw the Guelph Storm winning 4-3 in a shootout over the Erie Otters. The game in Peterborough now is tied. It's the Ice Dogs and the Petes deadlocked at 3, 4 minutes ago in the third. Late in the third period, the Sioux Greyhounds have put a couple more goals on the board, but they still trail the Windsor Spitfires by a score of 6-4. That's got 5.5 minutes left in the third period. Now let's look at our 3 stars of service, is brought to you by Dave's Automotive.
Tonight's 3 stars is brought to you by Dave's Automotive Services, 411 Airport Road in North Bay. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect from Dave's.
Our third star of service tonight from the North Bay Battalion, number 22, Matvey Petrov, scoring his 22nd of the season, 70 points on the year. He's currently sitting atop of the OHL scoring race. Second star from Mississauga, Justin Zazadi, with 1 assist in the game. And our first star from the Mississauga Steelheads, Mason Zabeski, 1 goal in the game. So nobody really getting lots on the scoreboard, but it is the Steelheads getting 4 goals. Battalion only able to solve the goaltender tonight, 4-2, so they fall 4-2. Battalion looking a little tired after that road win last night up in Sudbury. Probably a pretty early morning getting back in the town.
Yeah, I imagine. And it's hard because you can never really use those kind of games as an excuse for how you play the next day. And these guys are used to playing. They play doubleheaders pretty much every single week, right? Or back-to-back, every single week. So this isn't something that's new for them. But you could definitely tell that this was not the Battalion team that we know that they can play. And again, they're a team that does not lose on home ice. Like they do very well at home. In fact, this is only their 3rd regulation loss this season, 17-3-1-1 now at home. So it's very interesting, but they were very flat. You could tell they just didn't seem to have any chemistry. Their passing was poor. Their defense was better in the third period, but that was because they played a lot of 4-on-4, 5-on-4 kind of hockey. And the first 40 minutes just wasn't good. The third period they got it going, but again, their offense wasn't clicking. They were bunching up. They weren't passing. They were trying to make stuff happen from an individual level. They weren't picking up rebounds. Every time they seemed to try to pass it in the slot, it would hit off a body. And you got to give a lot of credit to the Steelheads. The Mississauga played a great defensive game. They boxed out that kind of slot area, and they kept the Battalion off the score sheet for a lot. But again, this easily, if DiVincentis didn't play the way that he played, this could have been easily like a 5-2 or 6-2 game.
Yeah, definitely DiVincentis playing an excellent game for the Battalion. That evens up the season series now at 2 wins apiece. 4 games between the two, with 2 more remaining, as they will both have a home-and-home game, as they will meet up again March 3rd. This time it will be in Mississauga, and then the final game of the regular season sees the Mississauga Steelheads in town to finish off the season against the North Bay Battalion. But if you don't want to wait, there's still lots of action here in North Bay, and we'll have it on the front line for you. Tomorrow evening, the front line will be down in Powassan covering the U18 North Bay Trappers as they take on the New Lisker Cubs in the Great North U18 League action. And then on Sunday, we'll be back here at Memorial Gardens. Note the time. Start time is 4 o'clock. The pregame show will be on air at 3:50 right here on the Frontline YouTube channel. It's the Kingston Frontenacs in town that night to take on the North Bay Battalion. And then looking at the week ahead, a pair of Voodoo games next weekend, as on Friday night they will host the Espanola Paper Kings, and then on Saturday they host the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners. Both of those games scheduled to start at 7 o'clock down in the Powassan Sportsplex. Next week, the North Bay Battalion will host the Sarnia Sting. That will see the return of calendar native Ben Goudreau, the goaltender for the Sarnia Sting, on Thursday evening the 9th, and then a Sunday afternoon game as they host the Barrie Colts. So a lot of action here for hockey for the front line in the next couple of weeks, Ben.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And again, we look at the Battalion. Yes, they've had a couple of hiccups, right? You look at Hamilton, the 2 Mississauga games, the Oshawa game. But I think overall, you got to be very happy. Coming into this game, they were 7-2-1. They're now going to be 6-3-1. But overall, they're tied for Ottawa for the top. for the top in the CHL right now, or the OHL, sorry. And unfortunately, they're not able to take over the Ottawa, especially with games at hand. Those are very important points. And if you're Mississauga, a very important 2 points. Now only 1 point behind the Petes.
Well, the North Bay Battalion have a couple days to rest before their next action. As I said, that will be Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock start as they host the Kingston Frontenacs. Make the final here from North Bay Memorial Gardens. It's the Mississauga Steelheads beating the North Bay Battalion by a score of 4-2. For everyone here on the front line, from Ben Long, Courtney Kenny, Matt Sukram, Ben Sargent, I'm Derek Lindeman. So long from Memorial Gardens.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
Meals are a special Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids.